boys that sat on them benches. I never talked to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy POLK, a.k.a. A.Lo, a.k.a. the goddamn truth. Number 45 here, episode 45 of the Hangover, and I think it might be lying season. Still a little early, but may the lies commence. So, that's what we're going to get in here to today. As always, man, hit that like button. If you haven't, hit it on the way in. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here and checking us out. Small crowd in here right now, but we should pick up. We'll see. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. And share the video, man. Share the video. Like I said, small crowd so far, but put that video out there, man. Share that video on your Twitter, on your Facebook, or wherever it is you want to share it at. Share that thing. Let people know we in here. And as always, when we come in here, man, we're going to speak nothing but the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And have a good time. Like, well, that kind of contradicts the whole lion theme of this show, right? But you know how we usually do over here. Well, some logical lying is what we'll do here today. Anyway, we'll give a little bit more time, then we'll hit that roll call like we always do, and then we'll just get started. Not so much of a news breaking show or anything like that. I kind of just want to reach out to the people, talk to y'all a little bit. This will officially be the last. I said this before, but this will officially be the last time you see this surrounding around me, making some moves. So the next time y'all see me, well, let me y'all will see me, but y'all will not see me in this setting. And the next time we're in a room setting, studio-esque setting, I should be in Texas by then. So y'all will see me. Don't worry. Y'all will see me, but it'll be on the move, most likely through my phone, making some moves, doing some things. So I'm about to say goodbye to the great state of Hawaii. So that's what's going on with me. So this will be officially the last time y'all see Peter Wark in the back, Deontay Wilder, the Hennessy sign, the flag, that PS4 over there, making some moves. But don't worry, don't fret. We will have another studio-esque environment, hopefully better than the one I got. That's the plan. Anyway, let's do a roll call, man, and let's let the lies commence. I got Noel Squad in the building. FSU Tony, a member of the 863 tribe. Peter Shields, member of the 860 tribe. Hemi Noel. Priscilla Chestnut. Terrence Addison, a member of the 863 tribe. Jay Adams, Lorenzo Blackman, Yella. Panther Fan, Jen Fari. EMG. Jeff, member of the 863 tribe. Brandon B. Sammy Lance. Firewater. Damian Adams, a member of the 863 tribe. Jay Dupree Hundo Rock Jersey. And that's all we got right now, man. 29 people in here. Hit that like button. 29 people. Actually had 29 likes. And as the numbers go up, continue to hit that like button. Let's not waste any more time and get this thing started. Hold on. There we go. Let's get this thing started, man. Something that we haven't touched on, Marcus Lewis, Mayan King in the building. I haven't touched on since this has happened, but I haven't really touched on the Wes Virginia transfer. So we'll talk a little bit about him. And what's his last name, Wright? Winston Wright, I believe is his name, off the top of my head. All these names, man, you forget all of these names. But Winston Wright, West Virginia, BB in the building, Jose Garcia in the building. Another wide receiver, man. And I got to tell you, out of all these wide receivers, Winston Wright's another good pickup. Another guy with another guy with, I believe he has 2 years of eligibility. So every wide receiver they've brought in is not a one, if it, granted, you get a guy with a big season, he might dip after a year, but for the most part, everybody they've brought in is not a one-stop guy. You got guys that will be here for multiple years, but, and I think Winston Wright's a great get. Winston Wright is definitely going to contribute. Again, obviously the emphasis will be on special teams for him. I think he's returned 2 kick returns for touchdowns in his 2 years or 3 years. I think he's 2 or 3 years at West Virginia. Jacarius Middleton was going on. Montre was popping. TK going on. So he's had 2 kick returns in his time at West Virginia. Over, I think, 2 seasons of 600 plus yards. So, I mean, that's a lot. That's production. That's what people, they didn't like some of these guys because production issues. Well, you got one, the most productive guy they've gotten so far, Jamal M in the building. I think the bigger story, though, and it kind of goes to some of the rumors, if you don't know, there's a ton of rumors right now in FSU spaces and all of that. We know they're not done in the portal, but, rumors are heating up. 24 hours after the national championship game, I think 5 Bama guys, Billingsley probably being the biggest name there, hit the portal. A couple linebackers from Bama, an offensive lineman from Bama. Then there was about 3 or 4 Georgia guys that hit the portal today. So that's kind of was expected, right? After the national championship, some of these guys will be hitting the portal. I don't think the attrition from either schools are done. So we'll see if FSU picks up. I know there's Carson Beck rumors, a wide receiver out of Georgia. There's rumors on him. But getting back to the wide receivers here for a second, I think the bigger story isn't so much the guys we brought in. I think it's the guys that are on the roster. I don't know if there's a better way. I don't know if there's any. I don't know how you're sitting. Everybody in that wide receiver room, unless you're Nate Tyler heading in the building, Malik McClain's the only one sitting in our wide receiver room right now that's probably comfortable. That knows I'm good. Everybody else got to be looking like, holy crap, they really don't like us. I don't think there's any, with the rumor of a potential 5th wide receiver coming in the portal. I'm not against it. I remember, we talked about it during the season. We said at least, I said at least 3. I said at least 3. I didn't know if they go to 4 or 5. I ain't against it. Obviously, though, if you add that 5th guy, there's no way. There's just no way Keyshawn Helton, Jordan Young, Williamson, Portier. It wouldn't shock me if all 4 of those guys hit the portal. Wouldn't shock me if all. There's no way if you're a current wide receiver on FSU's roster that you're looking at the moves they're making and have any confidence in yourself. Like, they are telling you without telling you, yeah, homie, you are not it. You're not it. And I think only Malik McCain might be the only guy comfortable. Douglas is probably safe. Jakai's probably safe. Burrell's probably safe, right? Those 3 guys are probably the only guys sitting in that wide receiver room like, I don't know about y'all, but we good. Everybody else looking like, wait a minute, do I got a roster spot now? Because it's pretty obvious that they are looking to upgrade that position heavily. So, and again, they're not done. I mean, and this show's really going to be all about rumors and some speculation, but guys are hitting the portal every day, and we knew that was going to be the case, right? We knew guys were going to be hitting the portal. Well, Noah Kane, running back out of Bradenton IMG, Penn State, he's hit the portal. Don't know where he's leaning to, don't know where he's looking to go. Not saying he's trying to come to FSU, but I've been pretty steadfast on I'm pretty good with my running back room. But if you can land a difference maker, I say you go for it. We'll see. Again, we talked about potential quarterbacks hitting the portal that maybe Florida State would be interested in. The portal, man, is just, it's exciting. It's exciting to watch and talk about and like cover it. And the big name kids, man, they're gonna get their spots. But some of these kids, man, they continue to enter the portal, and you just look around and say, where do you guys really think you're going? And if I'm Kentron Portier, if I'm Keyshawn Helton, if I'm Pookie Wilson, I'm looking and I'm saying, do I really even enter the portal? Because who's picking these guys up? Who's picking up a Jordan Young? Let's be honest. Who's picking them up? Island Boy in the building. What's going on, man? Reality Music Entertainment. What's up? Let me see if I forgot anybody else. No, okay, I think we're good. I think I got you already, Mayan King, but if I didn't, what's up with you? But yeah, man, this portal stuff is ratcheting up like we knew it would. And I like the fact that Florida State is really attacking it hard. And I think that just comes from that Mike knows that year 3 is probably do or die. Year 3 is probably do or die. If you don't do anything in year 3, even your supporters, Mike, are going to turn their backs on you. Like, there's some people I think that are vehemently Mike Norvell fans, and fine, the same way there are people who are vehemently against Mike. Pick a side or stay in the middle, do what you want. But I don't see how you go into year 3 and it's reminiscent of the first 2 years, and you don't think that these guys, people are going to turn on you. People are going to turn on you. Even your biggest supporters are going to start turning on you. And I just think Mike knows, like, it's make or break. Do or die, make or break. And he shouldn't, I can't speak for him, obviously, I don't know him, but he shouldn't be sparing any feelings. And it's the way he's attacked the wide receiver room, don't look like he's sparing any feelings in that wide receiver room. And hey, I'm with it. And I think just off of what they've done in the first part of the portal. Okay. So there's like a couple portal hot periods, right? First hot period was after the season. Immediately after the season, bam. Cool down a little bit. Now you're looking at the 2 big teams that were in the national championship game, right? We know those guys were going to have some attrition because they got big time recruiting classes coming in, which means they're going to be looking to get some of that dead weight. Man, DF, that picture. DF, what is going on, man? Member of the 863 tribe. This dude, DF, something is wrong with you. Gator Hater, what's up? Something is wrong with DF. If y'all, look at this. T2, are you in here? Something wrong with this man. Something wrong with you. Brandon Brazier, man, what's up? That just made me lose my entire train of thought when I seen this. Holy cow. This man is an idiot. I really just lost my entire train of thought and where I was going with what I was saying. So because I lost that, let's go to the comment section since I'm already looking at it and see what y'all are talking about in the comments, man. Let's see. We'll start off. I don't want to go too far back, but let's start off somewhere. Firewater says Helton and Pokey to FAU. FSU fans got to stop predicting guys that aren't in the portal. I want to touch on that a little bit a little bit, Tyler, because I agree with you. We've kind of made that mistake before, right? I think we shouldn't be talking about kids until they officially hit the portal. And we're making kind of the same mistakes we made last year. Remember the whole Trey Sanders debacle? His name's popping up again. I think, just to touch on what Tyler's talking about a little bit, and I specifically want to touch on Trey Sanders here for just a second. Again, he has not officially entered the portal. I don't know if he will. I don't even know if there's really a rumor out there. But I do think if there was a rumor out there about Trey Sanders, this year it has a little bit more validity than last year, mainly because the addition of Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Gibbs is coming to take a spot for sure. And to be completely honest, I've watched Trey Sanders at Bama. He has not looked like the guy he looked like in high school, whether that's from his injury that he had because I believe he had a car accident and had an injury or whatever the case. Trey Sanders has kind of looked like an average player at best, in my opinion. Like, I'm not even sure if he hit the portal should FSU really go all in on him, to be honest with you. But I think the addition of Gibbs could push a guy like Trey Sanders out. Not saying it's going to happen. Again, when we talk about these rumors today, guys, take everything with a massive grain of salt. But just some thoughts. Reality Music says, bye, Jordan Young. Absolutely. Jordan Young's got to be out of here at this point. I love the portal. Danae Thompson, who deals with Beck, said he ain't nothing on Beck, saying it's cap. Okay. Island Boy says, there you go. What up, no family? Dupree Hundo. Absolutely. We just got on, man. We've been on about, I say 10, 15 minutes. About the first 5 or so minutes was just the introduction. FSU Tony, member of the 863 Tribe, says, my question is, how are we going to use all these guys? And who do you think starts? Micah and Wright are both slots. I guess we're really going to open up the offense and lean more on the passing game. Again, but that's the beauty of this version of the portal. So I think previously I was always with the way the portal has changed. It's not like it was 5 years ago, even 3-4 years ago. Portal players in the past usually you weren't getting 2-3 years out of them. You were getting 1 year max. And hold on a second. But you were getting 1 year max out of these guys. So I was always of that impression that you should not try to build a team in the portal. It's just, but like, to answer your question though, Tony, I think there's no rush for a Deuce Spann to play necessarily year one. He's a guy with, first of all, he's extremely raw and a guy with 3 years. But what it does do is, why waste time trying to develop Ontario Wilson? It's not Ontario Wilson, but Kentron Portier and some of these other guys. They've already been in college for 3 years. And now we can invest it in a guy who has 3 years of eligibility left. Right. So Deuce Spann probably doesn't play, or I'm not, or he doesn't have to be a starter initially. I think Micah Pittman and Wright, because they come in as the most experienced guys. And then there's talk of using, Johnny Wilson as tight end, or is he a big receiver? That gives him a lot of versatility. I think you let that stuff figure it out on the practice field. There's no reason to kind of be like, well, who's going to play? It doesn't even matter. They're going 3-4 wide receivers, because that's what all these teams do nowadays anyway. Those guys are going to get a chance to practice, make their name, and the best guys, I think, will be on the field. And there's never a bad thing about raising the talent level of that room, which they desperately needed to do. People acting like 6 wins is okay are in for a rude awakening. When you're racking up L's to middle ACC teams, the support will run. Exactly. Exactly. No Squad says, them boys barely FCS level to me. Jacksonville State corners were able to hang with them. Ooh, Firewater talking that talk about our current receivers, and is he lying? Nicholas Johns, what's up with you? What up, Ray Fitty? Since we're talking about the receivers, Sammy Lance talked about it. So there was a clip that started making the waves of Johnny Wilson catching the ball. Awesome catch. I mean, good to see that long wingspan and stuff. It's actually was the original clip is on Cam McDonald's YouTube channel, which is Cam McDonald with 2 M's on Cam. And it was actually a lot of guys out there. Micah Pittman's out there. I see Keyshawn Helton out there. Maury Gaynor's out there. All 3 quarterbacks are out there. Rodemaker's out there actually throwing zingers with no shoes on. I don't know if that ever translates to the football field, but I've always liked Rodemaker's arm. I just don't think he has it here. A lot of guys were out there. Again, Josh Burrell was out there, but he wasn't competing in any drills. Again, trying to think of all the guys who were catching passes that I can remember. Malik McLean was definitely out there. Again, I saw Micah Pittman out there. I saw obviously Johnny Wilson was out there because he's the guy that kind of stole the show with his catch. And AJ Duffy's out there throwing the ball. Rodemaker's throwing the ball. Trap's not throwing the ball. He's playing like a little, not really corner, but he's kind of out there, mimicking the defensive player. But Travis is out there, but he's not really throwing any balls. So yeah, go check that out, man. Go check that out. Any rumors on the wide receiver coaching position? Man, I have nothing. I've heard the same thing y'all have heard. I don't know. I'm almost kind of worried that they might keep old boy, to be honest with you. I just predict guys to the portal just for fun. Fans have no power over this, so might as well find something fun about it. Nothing personal. There's never nothing personal, man. If you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen. I never attack any, and I know you're not talking about me directly, Firewater, but I also want to put that out there. It's nothing personal. But when I come on here and talk about kids, I strictly talk about them on the football field. And I'm sorry if there's just some kids I don't like on the football field. I have never once attacked a kid personally and don't ever plan to. Do span outlook. Again, Heights Mark, what's up? Raw. A lot of talent or a lot of athletic ability. We'll see who develops them and can he put it together. War chant lying on Dell McGee, who's a running back coach that makes $800K. We can take 32 players. Chad Kinsler, what's up? Know what I hear the coaches are after another offensive tackle. If there's a really good running back, maybe also hear that they will go after maybe one more defense, maybe a linebacker if there is one. I love this mass exodus. Go get the guys in the portal with 3 years left. Get the ball running. Whatever works, I'm all on board. The portal will be Mike Norvell Lifeslaver. Mike killing the portal. Well, you got to do it. I think your boy over there, Michigan State, kind of showed or gave a blueprint for this. And Mike actually, I mean, he did very well in the portal last year, but you can see that they're kind of attacking the portal with a different level of like emphasis this year. Or at least that's what I see. I think Azariah Thomas can speak for. I think he can. Again, I want to see him at corner. I think he's a 6'3" guy who can move at corner. I would love to see him at corner. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. Jarvis Brownlee has his position is up for grabs. There's no way you can convince me that if we go into fall and Jarvis Brownlee is the starting DB, starting corner again, that we didn't fail somewhere along the line there. I don't mean to, hate to say it like that. Again, I like Brownlee's mentality. I think Brownlee's mentality is a little bit of a double-edged sword for him, though. I think the same thing that makes him play hard in games and gives him that dog mentality in games is the same thing that hurts him on social media. If you don't pay attention to Brownlee on social media, man, he's very whiny and it's almost like it's everyone's fault that he doesn't get more recognition than his own. And I think it's that mindset, though, is one of the reasons why I think on the field you can like what you see in him in spurts. But I just don't feel like Brownlee we can go into the year next year and Brownlee's still the starter unless he makes some massive strides in this offseason. Sounds like Duke is staying. He should. Former FSU Gray. Oh, man, DF. Rumored name is Jermaine Burton, UGA. Played at Calabasas with Johnny and Pittman. Again, that's another receiver, right? I've heard that one too. Rodemaker should try it for the baseball team. It's funny to see so many people. Hold on. It's funny to see so many people saying we don't want any more wide receivers, but cry about the lack of production. Gator Hater says the only reason they can keep up is because our guys can't catch the ball. POLK or chat. What's up with the 4-star O tackle visiting this weekend? I know who you're talking about. I don't know his class. I'm pretty sure they're done with the 2022 class, Panama Jack. He's probably a 2023 guy. Don't know for sure because like I saw the little like thing of it, but I didn't go into detail on it because I assumed he was a 2023 guy. Pretty sure there's not too many big name guys out there in 2022 that FSU is really in the running for at this point. Jeff with the $5 says, what I hear is this is going to be Dugan's gonna. I'm trying, Jeff. I'm trying. Give me a minute. What I hear, this is going to be Dugan. They're going to let Dugans go because if they were going to renew his contract, I have heard similar things. I've also, and I know we probably won't get a resolution to Ron before. I mean, his contract doesn't end until the end of January, so it doesn't make sense to fire him. Let his contract run out. This way, you don't have to worry about, which I don't think there would be any backlash, but there are people like DF crazy ass saying that Dugans is a legend and he should stay. You don't have to fire the legend. You just let him go. You just let his contract expire and say we're going to look elsewhere. It's a better look than firing him. It's a better look than firing him. But shout out to Jeff with the $5.
My name is Jeff.
Apparently, Greedy Fans had a ton of production. I'm not saying he's a surefire starter, but he comes. I agree. Again, I would love to see a combination of Greedy Vance and Kevin Knowles. Hell, I wouldn't mind moving Brownlee to that slot too. If you can cut 3 deep in the slot, because who's backing up? Remember, we started Jamie Robinson off in the slot with Kevin Knowles as his backup. But it's pretty apparent that Jamie Robinson is a way better safety than he was a nickelback. So who's backing up Kevin Knowles now in that slot? So depth and rotation, right? What up, Jerd? DF on that dope. Damian Adams with $5 says, it's being said that Mike looking at NFL assistants to fill the staff. Well, we'll check. We'll see. I don't think any staff moves get made till after January, when Odell's contract runs out after January as well. Okay, so Odell, Dugans, Sabbath Joseph, he's taking a lateral job back down to South Florida. He'll still be off the field like analyst or whatever. So they're going to have to fill another analyst spot. So I think they're going to make some of those moves till after January. But shout out to Damien, man, with the $5. What you want, Damien? I'll give you P-Dub.
Get more money, get more money, yeah.
And then sorry about that, POLK. My phone is not the easiest phone, and sometimes hey, it's all good. It's all good. I made it work. And then Winston Wright is going to be huge for us. And DF says, POLK, what did Joseph do to get fired? That's what we're spinning it. Yeah, Joseph got fired, man. You know what he did? He didn't land Basaint. That's what he did to get fired. So we let this guy take our leftovers. That guy, we allowed that guy to go ahead and get our leftovers because we don't want Sabbath Joseph anymore. That's the spin, and I'm sticking to it. Wanda, how you doing? Dang Bay, how you doing? Wanda says, hello, how you doing? How good is Greedy Vance? Didn't any good highlights. So apparently he graded out fairly decently, and I'm not much of a PFF guy. I'm more of a eye test guy. But apparently, he Louisville guys, I don't think we're happy to see him go. I think the biggest knock on Vance is he's small. He's small, so there's that. But apparently he's very good in coverage. So we'll see. And White definitely has the explosiveness that we're missing. And no, Brandon, he got fired, and that's the story, man. And we're sticking to it. He got fired. Damien says, Jay, Tate, Green, Gant, all gone in the spring. I think it's something to watch, man. So I heard FSU's right now at 88 scholarships, and they got to be at 85. So I expect that attrition to definitely come from receiver and to definitely come from the DB room. It's hard to disagree with any of those names you really put. Like, again, I want to see Demore Tate, but at this point, going into year 3, if he can't solidify himself in the spring, he's probably out of here. Travis J was so bad that by the end of the year, Travis J wasn't even seeing the field. They had completely took him out of the 2D rotation. So he's in the doghouse. Can he make that up? If not, he's probably out of here. Ronaldo Green is another one. A guy who, unfortunately, injuries, but he's been taken over, and he's a safety. Or they play him as safety. Well, right now, if you're Ronaldo Green, Sam McCall's coming in there. Sam McCall's in Tallahassee. Azariah Thomas can play either safety or corner. You're bringing back the all ACC safety, and you're bringing back Sidney Williams, and you still got Shaheem Brown, who looked better at times. So, yeah, Ronaldo Green's probably out of there. And I think Gant's going to try to make that move to backer. And if Gant can make that move successfully, I think he's good. I think the move to backer is trying to keep himself trying to stay on this roster. If he can make the move successfully and at least be a good rotation player, then I think Gant will be safe. But if not, yeah, Gant's another one who's probably on the outside looking in. Randy Moss, wide receiver coach, that boy would turn some heads. No, I need to see Tate at least a year. Well, again, I don't know. Again, Jarvis Brownlee's spot should be 100% wide open for grabs. Demore Tate, Azariah Thomas, Hunter Washington. Am I forgetting a corner? Unfortunately, Jerry Jones. I don't even want to say his name, but Jerry Jones is still out there on the roster. Travis J is still on the roster as of right now. Like that other DB spot's up for grabs. Greedy Vance, we mentioned him. There's a lot of names for Demore Tate to beat out. Tyler says, we land another instant impact player, especially at offensive tackle, and the lines are coming. I want to talk about that offensive line because I don't think they, unless a big name. So a name that rumor, again, everything with a grain of salt, Amarius Mims. Unless Amarius Mims hits the portal, if he hits the portal, for one, there's no way Atkins misses on him twice. I'm telling you right now, if he hits the portal, I think you can pencil him into Florida State. There's no way Alex Atkins misses on Mims twice. And two, that's a guy that you take right now, regardless. But what I think they're going to do, again, that's all saying unless a big name hits the portal at offensive tackle, which there are no huge names in the portal right now at offensive tackle. I think they're gonna look to see what they got in Rod Orr, what they have in Lloyd Willis and some of these guys, and they're gonna want to see, do they need to waste the scholarship on the tackle? But Lloyd Willis has been at Florida State for 3 years. That's about the right time for offensive tackle to now try. Who was Lloyd Willis was a project. But he's all 6'7", 300 plus of a project. So let's see how they developed him. A Rod Orr, who's a 4-star recruit, what's his development in year 2? They may just be trying to see what they have already. And then if Lloyd Willis or Rod Orr, those are really the 2 guys that come to my attention off the bat. There might be more guys. You guys can list them. I don't think any of the true freshmen start, so we can get that out the way. But if one of those guys develop, why waste a scholarship there, right? You could put it somewhere else. If they don't, then I say they'll probably check out an offensive tackle in the spring. JT needs some swagger and bring it to both sides of the ball. JT. Jordan Travis? It's over for Demore Tate, bro. If Travis takes his passing game to another level and stays healthy, we should see 8 wins easy. Tate has to be better than Brownlee. I agree. He has to be. Tate has to be better than Brownlee. I agree, man. But we'll see. Omarion Cooper, I agree. That's why you notice I didn't mention Omarion Cooper. I think he got his side locked up, to be quite honest with you. And locked might be a hard word because if somebody else can come in there and push Omarion, I'm all for it. But you notice I didn't mention him because there's a reason why He was not an early enrollee like a Kevin Knowles was. But by the end of the year, there's a reason why Omarion Cooper was on the other side of the field. And you saw what Omarion Cooper did to receivers down the stretch, man. He was locking guys up, man. He was locking guys up. Jeff with another $5 says, I miss your live stream with the national championship game, but I saw the repeat and at the end of that comedy. Man, that was Jerg. Jerg was drunk. If you didn't go watch that live stream that we did for the national championship, it was a last minute thing. I wasn't even gonna do anything. But Jerg was like, man, no, let's get on and let's talk some football and so we did it and we had a blast. We had a blast, especially at the end. At the end, when the liquor had all but settled in, and Jerg was belligerent and being, niggerish. Yep, we had a blast. So go check that out, man. If y'all had checked that out, and appreciate Jeff for the $5.
My name is Jeff.
Yeah, man, I'm with you, Hunter Washington. Like, I'm with y'all. I'm with y'all with that. That's why I say it's a failure if Brownlee's starting next year. It just is. I know you hate talking about the size, but guys who were at field level Monday's game said you can tell, and it's glaring. UGA and Bama are so far ahead of the big three. Not that I hate talking about size, and I agree with you, Damian. When you're talking about getting to the next level, where you want to compete for that national championship type level stuff, obviously that size comes in. It's not that I hate talking about it. I hate talking about size when we're talking about teams like Syracuse in these level of teams. And I'm saying to myself, again, you talk about Florida State right now, and they are on par, which isn't a good thing. Don't get my words twisted. It's not a good thing. But people are acting like last year specifically. I don't think coming into this year, watch, you're not going to hear a lick about size coming into this and leaving this spring. Watch. But last year, people kept talking about size when I'm like, Florida State is on par with the rest of the ACC. Not saying it's a good thing, because we should never be on par with those guys. But what did size, size that stuff didn't matter. It didn't matter against Miami, and Miami was doing all the bragging about size. Didn't matter against guys like that. And that's why I hated talking about it. A lot of DB's gonna go, especially since we don't really need Thomas or McCall to play offense anymore. Hurricane Millie says 5 will transfer. 5. The number 5, or you think 5 players will transfer? I think you might get more than 5. Dupree Hundo, I think so, but I just haven't seen them. The lies are already here. This is I think it's a new team. Offensively, I think you're wielding a new team. I mean, that wide receiver room is going to look drastically different. And I think your O-line is going to look drastically different. He was highly rated. I believe with the year under his belt, Hunter Washington going to show us something. All the homers need to get out of the whole podcast Norvell bubble. National scouts, etc., are saying UF and Miami are on the upswing with their new coaching staffs. We are on the decline with ours. William, I don't know if I agree with you, but you're entitled to your opinion. I mean, games got to be played. Napier and Cristobal ain't played one game yet. So I don't know where that is. And as far as Mike and Florida State goes, they haven't made the progression, just to be fair, they haven't made the progression that we may have want to see. But they did improve quite drastically from year 1 to year 2. The stats back that up, and what should have been some wins back that up as well. They did end up winning more games, lost really a bad one. But I don't know if I agree with that narrative. That's just me. Gant and Jay are no-lifers. They ain't going nowhere. I remember this time last year, I was vouching for Dent when all of the fans called him trash. Oh, I was there with you. I told people. I was there with you. Saying give Dent some time. The difference between Dent and Tate, though, for me, is we saw Dent have flashes. The reason I defended Akeem Dent so much is because it wasn't fair how he was necessarily being used. He was playing corner. They're moving him too much from corner to safety, from corner to safety. That had to do with obviously having two different defensive coordinators, and and I feel like they got him solidified at safety now. The problem with Demore Tate is we ain't seen him. I can't defend what I haven't seen. That's kind of my issue with Demore Tate. Dupree just pretty much, he said it first, because obviously I'm a little bit behind in the comments, but it kind of echoed what I'm saying. Like at least with Dent, he showed the flashes that we could defend it. With Tent, we literally have seen absolutely not a damn thing. It don't matter who the safeties are. Watch Fuller build them up and develop them NFL caliber players. I think DF just came in here to talk absolute nonsense today, and I'm for it because that picture is hilarious. I think Sam ends up starting over Dent. I'm all for it. I said this before. I don't think the beautiful thing is you don't have to rush Sam out there. But if Sam on the first day of spring is the number one guy in the secondary, I ain't mad at it. I know Jamie ain't going nowhere, but if it's Sam playing next to Jamie, I ain't mad at it at all. Not a lick. Jerk was definitely on one, Peter. Let me catch up in the comments. How could UF and Miami not be on the upswing? I hope so. They just fired their coaches. I just think you got to play games first, right? They should, right? Like to your point, they should be on the upswing. They just fired coaches. So you would hope they're not on the downswing. Games got to be played though, right? Man, DF on something tonight. He on something tonight. Anthony, what's up? He says, without getting another offensive lineman in the portal, who would you say would be our starters? As of right now, without seeing anybody in the spring, I think let's just pencil in what we had from last year. I think Darius Washington played excellent for basically the entire year. He had a silently good year. When Scott was healthy, he was just as good. Problem with Robert Scott is he had a few games there where he was trying to play through injuries, and it was kind of glaring in those games, right? He got kind of whooped fairly badly in those games. But I would say those are your two, as of right now, without seeing Lloyd Willis and Rod Orr. Your two tackles stay the same, Gibbons and Lyles. And I still say you're really looking to replace Love Taylor at this point, right? I still say Bless Harris, who I actually hear is not even enrolled in school. So I don't know what's going on there with Bless Harris. I don't think he's not enrolled. As of right now, I would pencil Bless Harris as that other guard. That would be it for me right now. Is the spring game going to be in Tallahassee? Hey, they say Shamar canceled his A&M visit and will be visiting Miami. So he might pull Shamar Stewart, which would be actually a damn good pull if he can get him. Just my opinion, but I think Deuce Spann and Winston Wright both can stretch the field. I think both can stretch the field. I think those not opinions. I think those are facts. Malik McClain and Wilson are your red zone wide receivers. I think we sleeping on Malik, man. I think Malik can do a lot of this stuff that we're thinking Deuce Spann. Like they're like the same. I think Malik McClain might even be a little bigger than Deuce Spann. Like I think he's further along than Deuce Spann. I think I know Deuce Spann is that brand new toy that we're excited about, but Malik McClain can do what Deuce Spann could do, if not more. Don't sleep on Malik McClain's speed. Now, they say Deuce Spann has track level speed, and I want to see it in action before I go that route. But when you listen to the interviews, which I did listen to Illinois coaches and players talk about Deuce Spann, and they talk about how fast they said he was the fastest guy on the team, and it wasn't really close. So I want to see that in action. But I think Malik McClain can be, or is, I won't say can be, I think he already is in that discussion of stretching the field. They, for whatever reason, didn't want to use him in that aspect, and we'll see if that changes. Mike Norvell need to hit the portal if we being honest. We'll see. Year 3. Again, I've always been on that, right? Year 3 for me. A team ranked in the 60s in recruiting is on the upswing. Damn, Ardavius. You ain't have to hit him below the belt. Imagine the transfer portal for coaches. They get pissed off at the AD and enter their name. No, they just leave schools and go make more money elsewhere. Got a bet with a friend of mine that's a Canes fan. But he thinks they're going 9-3 next year. Well, they thought they were going like 12-1 this year. So if history proves correct, Colin, I would take that bet. That's free money. That's absolutely free money. Do you think we need another running back? No, unless the right one comes along. I actually like our running back room. And I put this on Twitter the other day, and the truth hurts people's feelings sometimes. And this time last year, a lot of y'all, same people in this chat, y'all hated Jashawn Corbin. Y'all thought he was done. Y'all thought he wasn't the good. He wasn't explosive. Y'all were forgetting the fact that he had just like that last year, not this previous year that just passed, but last year he was just coming off of an injury. I think it was a hamstring injury or like a serious injury he had. So he was still getting back in the swing of things. And y'all hated Jashawn Corbin. You're like, and I had moments where I was like, man, Corbin don't look like the Corbin I saw in high school and at his first few games at A&M. But this time last year, I was like, nope. Corbin does a lot for you in the pass blocking and the receiving game. So I was on the defend Jashawn Corbin bandwagon again, right? And then come this year, of course, now everybody loves Jashawn Corbin, and now everybody is so, oh my God, he's leaving. This running back room is doomed. And I'm like, well, did you not just watch Treshaun Ward? Do you not believe in DJ Williams, or you don't think that's anything? Are we all just throwing Toafili away? Like, again, I think the running back room is just fine. So if you get the right guy in the portal, I say take a shot at him. But y'all told me we were gonna miss LaDamian Webb, and Treshaun Ward has made y'all forget who LaDamian Webb even was. So I'm cool on the running backs personally. But like I said, I will take the right guy if the right guy. Like if Noah Cain is interested in Florida State, I probably would take a run at him. TK thinks Deuce-Spann will be our highest draft pick at wide receiver. Interesting. April 9th at 5. I'm there. Y'all pull up to the spring game. I won't be able to, but I'll be watching. Worst case scenario is Mike Norvell gets fired, and then all these stories come out about how organized. They ain't going to do Mike like that, though. Corbin proved us wrong, no doubt. That run versus Notre Dame shocked me. If Toafili stays healthy, I believe he takes a step. Toafili, I'm interested to see. Toafili has an interesting body type that he kind of reminds me of Devonte Smith, who plays for the Eagles now, wide receiver, Heisman winner, in the sense of not comparing talents, body types. Devonte Smith went a whole, 3-4 years at Alabama. It probably never gained a pound. Like he was drafted at 170 pounds, small, like Deshaun Jackson, guys like that. Toafili kind of looks to me like he's a guy that never really going to gain any significant weight to be an every down running back. So I'll be interested to see if they can actually put some weight on him. Because Toafili's still going out there looking like he's 180 pounds soaking wet, if that. I think Toafili can be a lot more effective if they can get him up to 195-ish. I would prefer 195 and above. But he kind of looks like he has the body type where he's not ever really going to gain that kind of weight. Like a James Blackman. Now, he's not as long and lanky as Blackman, but I think you guys get what I'm kind of getting at. Corbin ain't a better runner than Ward. Glad we still got him. I agree with you. I said that all last year too, even though I was thrilled with what Jashawn was doing. I think Ward is a better runner of the football. And I don't know why people are sleeping on DJ Damien. Michael Norvell needs to call up Bama QB that just hit the portal. I love Travis, and still has room for growth, but Mike is coaching for his future. I think that guy that you're talking about is like Bear Bryant's like grandson or something. He's related to Bear Bryant in some way. I think Fabian already announced it this past week, I believe. Somebody can answer that, but I'm almost 100% positive Fabian Lovett has already announced that he's coming back. But it seems like it, Brandon. They ready to give up on Toafili. We went from his freshman year, everybody was so excited about Toafili, and then shocker, you have two NFL quality running backs in Jayshon Corbin and Trayshawn Ward, which I believe that they both are that. I mean, we see Jayshon Corbin is about to go to the NFL draft. I think Trayshawn Ward has that ability as well. Trayshawn Ward doesn't have that breakaway speed, but you don't need that for the NFL. Devontae Freeman didn't have it. He became an all-pro. And it's like they just given up on Lawrence Toafili. Like, okay, he sat behind some really good running backs. Give him some time. Should we kick the tires on Zach Evans? He's better than anything on the roster. He has been. I think he already committed to Ole Miss. Pretty positive he's already at Ole Miss. POLK, you got to do some games next. I plan on hitting this New Orleans. That LSU game is. I plan on hitting that LSU game next year. Tatum Bethune, been a baller, play with him at Pembroke Pines Optimist. Okay. Next year we going 9-3. You heard it here first. Toafili the same size as he was day one. Do you think we can get Dante Moore? I hear he was on campus. Who's Dante Moore, Wanda? I'm sorry, that name doesn't ring a bell with me, so somebody help me out there. Is he a 2023 kid? Is he who is he? Sorry. Toafili should have been moved to wide outlet. A lot of people think Toafili should be like a slot type receiver, but we'll see. I'm hoping to make it someday to see the Seminoles at home. And Mackenzie Milton playing in the Hula Bowl. I don't think it's an NFL draft pick, but good for him. What up, Kusami? Yes, Lovett announced last week he's coming. Dante Moore 2023, so too early. Yeah, so that's why I don't know who he is. If y'all don't know, I don't pay attention to like the 2023 kids until it's time for that. I did the same thing with Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter had committed real early to Florida State, and everybody was hyped, and I was like, I don't know the kid, don't care about the kid. Then once we got ready for the new recruiting class, then we start talking Travis Hunter. So we'll do the same thing for 2023. Not the only kid I know from the 2023 class is Lamont Green Jr. There you go. Great grandson. I knew he was related to Bear Bryant in some way. Only problem I have with getting QB is Mike has shown his inability to utilize his QBs correctly. So no, please God, don't let Mike have to get a QB unless he's just that dude. They need to bring in another transfer QB to compete with Travis. If he goes down with injury, we are screwed. Both sites seem to be adamant that FSU will look for a running back. If that's, they got more inside than me, right? So maybe that's the feedback they're getting, that FSU is adamant. Maybe Mike Norvell, they see those running backs more than I do. Again, I like the running back room, but we'll see. We'll see what they do. Umbrella really impressed me in the All-American game. I think George Wilson will be better than Peyton. Ooh, I think that's saying a lot. George Wilson is we'll see. See, Patrick Peyton is already. George Wilson came into Florida State like under 200 pounds at 6'5". Patrick Peyton, and you can go watch some of Patrick Peyton against UMass. So he's already filled out. Obviously, you can define that muscle and get stronger, but Patrick Peyton is already at least 230-ish. I think he's going to go into this season in the 240s. I don't know how big George Wilson is. I would say that what I'll say to you, Cooney, is I think George Wilson has a tremendous upside, but can they get him to D1 caliber size? If he can get to that size, George Wilson, and keep his athleticism, then I think you got a scary kid on your hands. Paul Tyson is buns. Let's stop. What do you feel about the running back room? And if we do go after a running back transfer, who would be your main again, just a difference maker. If there's a difference maker out there, go for him. But just getting a guy to get a guy, I think you're wasting a scholarship when you already got what 1, 2, 3, right? Ward, Toafili, Williams, Rodney Hill. You already got 5 scholarship running backs on the roster. Unless you think Corey Wren's out of here, then maybe that's why they're looking to add a running back. Warchant and the fan base have been seeing a 10-win season. What am I missing? It's going to be 6 or 7. I don't know what it's going to be yet. It's January. It's way too early to tell. This roster ain't complete yet. So, only thing I will ask you, King Mark, for the people that say 6-win season, I just want you to look at next year's schedule and show me 6 losses. Dudes be lying. They ain't hearing nothing. And the same question for QB. Man, I don't know. That's one. I've been kind of big on this QB thing. I'm so torn if they should. It's like my head says they should take one because I agree with everybody's thoughts of if Jordan Travis goes down, you're screwed. Do we have any faith that Tate Rodemaker makes a step to being a capable backup this year? I don't think we do, right? At the same time, I've talked about how Mike Norvell has really fumbled this quarterback room in terms of just the way he's managed it. And I think it's no coincidence that Jordan Travis started playing his best ball when Jordan Travis knew he was the guy and didn't have to look over his shoulder. Do I want to start making Jordan Travis look over his shoulder again? Do I want to go in there with more doubt? Now, if you get me a guy that's bona fide, sorry, Jordan Travis, love you, no hard feelings. But if you get me a guy who's bona fide better, then you get him. And Travis, guess what? You just see the guy to be the backup, or now you got to hit the portal. 4th and 14 will live forever, but you got to go, right? But if you're just going to get me a guy who, on face value, we can't tell if he's any better than Jordan Travis, we're going into the fall, still in a quarterback competition, I'm not really for that. I just think that's another recipe for disaster at that quarterback position. Robbie Ashford name being thrown around also. A man's fan. Fans stay with the cap. Man, I've heard a ton of rumors. I like what we have in the backfield, but if you have a good back in the portal like Kane or if Sanders hit. I'm not as high on Sanders as some people on Trey Sanders. I don't think Trey Sanders is the same player he was. Did y'all watch him in the national championship game? Have y'all really watched him at Bama? I don't think Trey Sanders is really the guy that we think. If Trey Sanders was the guy, Bama probably doesn't go after Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Patrick is ahead of Byron right now. I think that too. Byron Turner would have been a guy to get in that rotation, but with the injury, it's going to be interesting to see how Byron Turner bounces back from his injury. It seems all the gains made in weight training are lost in mat drills. You put on the right type of weight, you ain't going to lose it. I'm hearing rumors of another transfer commit. I'm thinking, yes, somebody else said that. Aslan is the only one saying 10 wins. Do y'all really care what Aslan has to say? Tate looked better than KZ in the U.S. Tyler, you said something that I think is I don't know if I ever said this, but I know I've talked this to myself. I feel like if they would have went with Rodemaker in that UF game, he might have been able to do more and keep that game and do some things. Obviously Milton was a disaster, and every time they seem to bring Milton off the bench, with the exception of Notre Dame, he was a disaster, right? Again, I think they're going to go into the spring and see what they had. I think they're going to throw the whole book at Tate Rodemaker to see if they need to go after a quarterback post-spring. Poke, you think we're good across the D-line? I would never turn down a D tackle if there was the right one in the portal. I would never turn that down. But I'm unlike a lot of people. I like what we got at DN. I like what we got at D tackle. But if the right one comes, you can never have too much depth there. Jarrett Verse obviously feels a need. I expect big things from McClendon and Quayshawn Fuller. And again, I'm stocking a lot of this on Patrick Payton taking the step because I really believe he is a very talented young man. So yeah, I like our D line. We're not gonna mimic, at least as of right now. I don't think you're gonna mimic the sack numbers right from last year. Not individually, maybe as a collective unit. Maybe I think Dennis Briggs gives you so much versatility. A lot of people were saying move him back to DN, or I'm of the opinion just Dennis Briggs doesn't need a defined position. On run plays, move him to DN. Passing downs, he can rush up the middle as a D tackle. I think Dennis Briggs brings you so much versatility to play either DN or D tackle. Quite frankly, he can play both in the same game all throughout the year. You can line him next to Robert Cooper in the middle. Again, on more heavy run plays, you can put maybe Jarrett Verse or Patrick Payton on one side and Briggs on the other side. Like, I think Briggs gives you a lot of Keir Thomas-esque vibes to me, and I think you can use him like that. So I like our D-line, man, personally. And I know people still want to add, and I'm never against adding things to the trenches, but I do like our D-line. I think they learned a lot from those two NFL caliber players we had last year. Verse is not a day one starter. I agree. Said that from the jump. The dude is going to have to earn his starting spot. I agree. He has some stiff competition. I agree. He is not Jermaine 2.0. No lie said in that, King Mac. I said that the day we got him. What makes Verse great is you're essentially getting a 5-star high schooler with some college experience. That's what you're getting. Jarrett Verse is equivalent to probably like a blue chip high schooler. But he's very raw still. He's growing still. 3 years. A lot of development still to be had there. But he can also come and give you direct snaps, and you don't have to worry about him having to learn certain things, right? So he's further ahead than a high schooler is. But this notion that he comes in and he's the best guy in that DN room, I think is lazy. I think it's a lazy take. I think it's a lazy scouting report. Just because he was highly sought after because he has the measurables, he has the length, and he has 3 years of eligibility. That's why he was so highly sought after by all of those other colleges. Not because he comes in and he's a 10-sack guy at D1 level after playing at Albany. I mean, come on. Trey Sanders is damaged goods. To be honest, I don't know. Heard he was a transfer portal QB. Good QB as I see. Okay. King Mac preaching some truth. Aslan keeps it real. I don't get the hate. Hey, if you like Aslan, you like Aslan, man. I'm not telling nobody who to like. Folks believing Verse is going to dominate and take over games like Jermaine have lost their minds. The kid is still developing. He played tight end in high school. Are we set at linebacker? I would definitely take a linebacker. I feel like they should take another linebacker. Maybe post spring a guy hits that you look at and you take. I think our starters are set. Lundy's in the rotation. Gainer's there to kind of be moved around. Outside of those four, and again, I'm still not high on Lundy. Y'all know how I feel about DJ Lundy. If I could move him even further down the depth chart, I definitely would. But you got to tell me outside of those four, I mean, there's going to be a big spring for Jadarius Green McKnight. He made the move to linebacker last year. He didn't play a lick. Well, let's see it. A year, learning that position, getting his body ready for that position. Can Jadarius Green McKnight make that move and get some production? If so, he shores up some things at linebacker. And, of course, I believe Brandon Gant's making that move. Can he shore up some things at backer? Big question mark at linebacker. I would say definitely not set. And as you see, guys, there's not a lot of news to cover. I'm just really answering y'all questions. So y'all keep the questions coming. That's what's driving along this show. And I don't have a problem with giving my opinion. Let me ask some questions back. I could see Verse being a really nice DN. I think he will be. I said this, King Mac, when we signed him. I said the same way I said about Micah Pittman and some of these guys, if you're expecting to come in and be wide receiver 1, I thought you're going to be disappointed. If you expect Verse to come in and be the best guy on the roster, I think you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Temper your expectations a little bit. If we could generate a pass rush, this is a 6-win team at max. Damn, yo. Again, you're entitled to your opinion, Ardavius. 1, it's January. You have no idea how this roster flushes out. And 2, show me 6 losses on that schedule. For y'all that keep saying this is only a 6-win team, show me 6 losses. Because this schedule that we just passed is a tougher one than what we have next year. And quite frankly, this was a 6 or 7-win team this year. They fumbled the bag. That's on coaching. Talent-wise, this was a 6-7-win team, and they fumbled the bag. So let you think Mike Norvell is going to throw away a few games, which is definitely possible. Are we just saying it's a 6-win team because we want Mike out of here? I could get that. But I don't see 6 losses, and I think you're fielding a way more talented team next year. I'm not even going to lie to you. Just wide receiver room alone is 10 times more talented than what we fielded last year. Just that alone. Just that alone. That's just me, man. Again, this show's all about lies, so keep bringing them in. Briggs was playing good till he got hurt. Facts, Pope. Oh, he was saying, okay, you said if we can't generate a pass rush. Okay. That definitely changes what you originally said. Got you. One thing I want to see next year is to stop rotating so often, especially at certain positions like secondary. I always talk about that. Every time I see 7 rotate in secondary, my heart skips a beat. Brig will be a monster under Odell, expert guidance, and Fuller, of course. I like Aslan a lot, but I believe he's pushing the 10-win scenario because he doesn't believe Norvell. He doesn't believe in Norvell. He is trolling. He only played at Albany because of his grades. Couldn't get him in a D1 program. I mean, maybe that is the case. But he wasn't highly rated coming out. I mean, go check his 247. It's not like grades is irrelevant if he was the type of prospect. Antavius Woody don't have the grades, but he's a blue chip prospect. But he's probably not going to be playing at any D1 school this year. No one thought a ton of Jared Verse coming out of high school either. He had a growth spurt in college, and he's still growing, which is not a negative. Yeah, Lundy is good against the run. We're in an age of football where everyone's running some variant of spread. He is a serviceable back. Serviceable. Notice the words you said there. Serviceable. But if you can upgrade that, would you not? That's all I'm saying. He's serviceable, but if you could upgrade it, that's my question. Lundy, okay, he's serviceable. But if you told me you can get 2 more linebackers in the portal to do what Lundy does in the run game, but also be able to cover if asked, would you not take it? That's all I'm saying, man. I agree, Firewater. I agree with that one too. Ooh, great question. I don't think 7. 7's going to be. I don't know if there's a player in the team right now that will have over 7. I think as a collective unit, you might have a lot of guys record multiple sacks, but I don't know if there's one guy that's going to dominate like a Jermaine. I'm going to say Derek McClendon has I'll say under, but just barely. I'll say 6. I'll say 6.5 for McClendon. And I agree with that, Firewater. If McClendon can't beat out a Jared Verse, some of these guys this year, then he's never going to start. We've been on right now for about an hour or so. What's good with you? I agree that we picked up some wide receivers, but our returning wide receivers, especially McClain, can be really good. Just got to get him the ball instead of blocking for JT the entire game. I feel you, definitely. What up, Zoe? Dudes just be saying anything. This team is going to be better. Bro, why you Why you guys that's supposed to be FSU fans and wanting the coaches to fail? I don't get that either, Peter. I'm not saying you have to love Mike, but to root for his failure again. But that, man, we know what that stems from, and we're not even doing that. Our defense will be fire. Fuller has these boys on track for a breakout season. Okay, Aslan might sound crazy, but with the roster and the schedule, it could happen. Winston Wright is going to take back at least 3 kickoffs. I would say you can pencil him in for 1 for sure. 1 for sure. Montre says under. And I believe Tatum was the best. I said that too. I said I think Bethune is huge, man. I think Bethune was huge. Because we need somebody to play alongside DeLoach. I think that's big. I can't even stress that enough. Yet I got people in my comment sections on videos, and y'all could go look at them, telling me Bethune was trash. They tell me to watch the tape, but the only tape they watch is 1 game against Cincinnati, but that's watching the tape. So a guy has maybe a bad play or 2 against Cincinnati, and that's watching tape. They ignore the other 11 games or 10 games he played. But, I think people just like to argue or debate, which is fine. I ask for those people that always jump in my comments. I do live streams. Come jump in the live stream and debate me. Don't do it over the comment section because I don't feel like going back and forth in the comment section. It's too much typing. Come jump in the conversation like everybody else. Briley says Verse was 30 to 40 pounds lighter in high school. No joke. He was between 200 and 210 and running the 100, 200, and 4x4. Can't judge anything by high school offers. Fair. But like you said, he was 30 to 40 pounds lighter. No one expected him to go to Albany, grow a few inches. All of a sudden, he's 6'4", 6'5", 240. With that athleticism, like you just said, in running track, it's impressive, right? Better number is 5. I said 6.5 for me. I agree. Yeah, I heard Michael Trigg is in the portal, but don't even. No, it's not happening. Not because I don't think Trigg's a good player, even though I think he had a pretty bad knee injury over there at USC. But if you don't understand what happened between Michael Trigg, the whole Marvin Wilson thing, and Michael Trigg's comments on the staff post Marvin Wilson, yeah, I think that's dead. Michael Trigg ain't coming to FSU. So, yeah. Word is that the back signal, it did go out earlier today. A lot of people, a lot of credible people, but we don't know who that is until we know who that is. A lot of speculation, but the bat signal did go out today. Do you see Joshua Farmer stepping up? I think Joshua Farmer, he's in that D tackle rotation. Yeah, man. I do. When you say stepping up, he's not going to replace Lovett. He's not going to replace Coop. I think Jarrett Jackson's probably your 3rd guy in that rotation. Then, of course, Malcolm Ray. But he could push Malcolm Ray. And that's not a knock on Malcolm Ray, who I think showed a lot last year. Because I was one of those. Malcolm Ray was on the verge of being like some of these other guys, the Damori Tates and the, these guys that we know are on the roster, but we can't never see what they got. Malcolm Ray was on the verge of that. He got an opportunity and he took advantage and he took off with it. But I think Farmer could push Malcolm Ray to either take his spot or he pushes Malcolm Ray to be better. But I think Farmer makes his presence known. Yeah, Michael Pittman did tweet that we're not done yet. So that's why people were, I think, referring to the running back out of Oregon, Ashford, I think. Obviously, he would know that. He would know him. Maybe that's what he was referring to. Either Jackson West or one of them true freshman tight ends starts taking snaps from Cam. Ooh, bold prediction. I don't think any of them tight ends take snaps from Cam. And I don't see it. I know damn sure ain't Kobe Gross. Jackson West, I think, has got some potential, but he's a project in and of himself. And so who else is taking it? Who damn sure ain't Jabril Prowse or Brian Courtney. And Cam, if anything, Johnny Wilson takes snaps. Like they moved Johnny Wilson over there and him and Cam compete. But other than that, sorry. Tatum with over 100 tackles trash. Like I said, FSU 20, go read my comment section On that live stream I did when the day Verse committed, and I went live not knowing that Verse was going to commit. I just knew he was pending. His commitment was pending. So I scheduled a live on that channel, on that live stream I did. People got under my comment section was telling me how wrong I was. POLK, that one you talking about will come against Duquesne, however you say that, our first game. Oh, for Johnny Wright, but not Johnny Winston Wright. You think he'll take one back against them? I'll put like Panama Jack. If he takes one back against them, then he'll get 2 for the season. DJ is a beast. Okay. Tatum is an athletic DJ Lundy. Is that a good or a bad thing? I think that's a good thing. If Mike get fired, as much as people don't want to hear this, Dion will be the next coach. The man making too much noise to ignore him. I don't think they ever hire him, but I at this point, I don't know if I'd be mad at it. I'm still on the Dave Aranda bandwagon, though. If Mike is to get fired next year, Dave Aranda should be the next football coach of Florida State. Jordan Davis was ass in his first game against Bama. He did. Shout out to him. He looked a lot better of a player than he did in that first game. Jamie's return is huge. This kid is going to have some serious breakout year. He will be a first or second day. I don't know if he goes first. I could definitely see Jamie going second day, even with the big senior year. I think Jamie lacks some of those measurables for NFL safeties, but we'll see how he plays. What happened with Triggs and the FSU staff? If you don't remember that Marvin Wilson, remember when Mike said he reached out to the team about the whole George Floyd thing, and Marvin Wilson came out and said that was a lie. Well, Trigg kind of took that and ran with it, said that what Marv put out there, he basically was just like, yeah, he doesn't really fool with Mike Norvell over that. He felt like maybe it was racially motivated or racially insensitive. So, yeah, I don't think Trigg and FSU have any real connection there. I read that comment, and I really wanted you to address it. I didn't address it, actually. But it's on there. I didn't feel like addressing it. Again, I'll be live for 2-3 hours. At any time, you can come in the comments and talk. It's not as soon as I go off, you hop in my comment. And I'm not, please, by all means, guys, comment. But I don't always answer guys who I never see in the live chats. If I see you in the live chat all the time and you comment, usually I'll address you and we'll have a back and forth because I know you participate in the live streams. When I never see you in the live stream, but I always see you commenting under my videos, and it's always, you never comment in agreement with me. It's always to disagree about something. I start ignoring those because I feel like you just there to want to argue about something. By the way, man, we got 100 people and I got 58 likes. I should at least have 90 likes with 100 people in here, man. Jamie Robinson is going to be key for this defense as far as leadership and playmaking. Jarrett was undersized coming out of high school. That's why he wasn't highly recruited. Got big, weight program, development is huge. FSU hasn't been doing great at that, especially at receiver. What's up, Raymond James? Have you talked about wide receiver Burrell? Well, I don't think Burrell will be ready. I'm pretty positive. So I think he'll be ready for the season, to answer the last part of that. I'm pretty positive, though, he won't be ready for the spring. He's going to have a light spring. He might do some workouts, but don't expect Burrell to really participate in the spring like that. I see Cam having a breakout year. Wyatt Rector got meaningful snaps last year. That tells you a lot about the tight end room. So this back signal is either Burton, Ashford, or Dollars. We need some Jared Verse type developments on this team. Players that come in and completely change their bodies and game. Yeah, you're right. Duquesne, because he always messed up. I just call him Dunkin' Donut School, but Duquesne, they're a basketball school. Gotcha. I like Aranda. Hit that like button. Norvell really lied, and I always wonder why. Just talk to the team for real, then make a statement. I came out in support of Marvin Wilson after that. The problem with Marv was you didn't back it up on the field, homie, and that's why you went undrafted. You can't publicly call out your head coach because they don't play that in the NFL. And also be subpar on the field. But I came out in support of Marv after that. I didn't feel Mike would have been better off not saying anything than to, come out and try to, what's the word? Like, big up something that he just sent out a mass text but didn't really talk to people, whatever. On watering the bridge now, but that is in reference to Michael Trigg. And Trigg kind of took that whole situation and he ran with it. So there you go. Marvin Wilson with the Eagles now. Glad he landed on his feet. And DF with the emojis. I just heard that Burton talk is all false rumors at the moment. A lot of this stuff, bruh, is going to be false rumors. It's the season. People are going to be throwing out the eye emojis and all these vague tweets. And then 6 hours later, people are still wondering, what was that about? So, again, once we start hearing names actually hit the portal, I think that it's worth mentioning. Polk, I think the running back who FSU is going after is Trey Benson. I read it today, and now he's in the portal. Who is Trey Benson, and what school did he play for? That name doesn't ring a bell to me, but I can look it up real quick. Let's look it up real quick. Oh, Oregon Ducks running back. Yeah, I'm not too keen on him. Like, I don't know if was he any good at Oregon? I obviously didn't watch a lot of Oregon football. So I'll let you guys tell me, was he a good player? Does he show like some explosiveness? Does he bring anything to our running back room that we don't already have, would be my question. Because if not, then why take him? How about beating them Canes in basketball? I didn't watch the game, but I was trolling after it. Shout out to the basketball team. Hasn't been a great season for them, but from Oregon, I'm not excited about it. Why would Burton transfer? He's a starter for UGA. How many spots left? Technically, they don't have any spots. Technically, FSU's roster is overloaded right now. They have to be at 85 by the start of the season, and they're at 88. So technically, they have to lose more scholarships. But as they say over there on 247, the numbers will work themselves out. I believe that. So they're going to take guys, and then they're just going to weed guys out. But as of right now, they kind of don't have spots, but they're going to keep taking guys. And the guys that we all expect to hit the portal probably hit the portal, especially in that receiver room. 4 wide receiver transfers, and we don't even know if Dugan's coming back. Has he even been involved with any of these portal guys? Great question. Don't know. No 6 carries, 22 yards, and a huge knee. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to take him. Why would you take a guy with no production and coming off a major injury? That might just all be smoke, hopefully. Any chance that all the back signal and the eyes end up being smoke? Big chance. Seems like the comment to the 247 articles are negative, but I don't pay for their info. Big chance. I mean, until you see something pop up, I would say big chance. I don't know what's going on there. I saw the same stuff y'all saw, but then I saw nothing come of it. And we're like 10 hours later and nothing still has come of it. Let's pump the brakes on these Oregon scraps. We don't need all of Pittman homeboys. Dugans is definitely not untouchable. Lance says we need to go after Noah Kane. I would take him. And I still like Toafili too. And then, Polk, do you think Jarrett Verse will be more productive than Marvin Jones Jr. year 1? Ooh. I don't know. Jarrett Verse might have more opportunities than Marvin. right? Marvin's going to be going to a loaded D line. Marvin's going to. I'm not saying Verse isn't going to have to work his way to snaps, but Georgia has different caliber of player on their trenches, if we're just being honest right now. And I don't think Marvin's not going to be given anything over there. And I'm not saying Verse is going to be given anything here, but I think the road to snaps is a little bit easier for Jarrett Verse. So Verse probably is more productive player year one. Now, if Marvin goes in there and he's the number one, I mean, that just speaks to Marvin Jones, like his talent level, but there's probably a good chance Marvin don't even see the field year one. That's tough. That's tough. Usually the back signals and eye emojis are followed by transfer news. Something probably changed, or whoever's decided to transfer maybe just isn't ready to announce yet. That's always possible. Jurgen says Marv might not take more than 15% of the. Yeah. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, like there's a good chance Marvin doesn't see the field year one. They saying that we reached out to Noah and he is interested. They will let us know. Marvin Jones Jr. may not even see the field at UJ's true freshman year. UJ usually develops these guys, even high 5 stars, before they play a lot of snaps. Kobe Dean even had to earn his time. Marvin Jones Jr. at the end of the day will be an elite player and will be the best player development in college football compared to Verse. Yeah, so I think the road is tougher for Marvin Jones Jr. to get early playing time. That's for sure. Let's see, where are we at here on these likes? We're at 73. Let's get to 80. Let's get to 80 likes. Championship teams have five stars, 3 deep. They see the field around the junior year like FSU used to. To some degree, you're right. Again, Georgia was fielding plenty of freshman guys. I mean, their tight end was a true freshman, number 19, and he was a beast. So, it just depends on the player, right? I think Marv can play. But is he going to be day one at a place like Georgia? Not too sure about that. Any chance you think we go after a former 5-star QB, Hunter Johnson? This will be his 3rd school, so that's a bit of a red flag, but still talented. I don't think they reach for any quarterback until after spring. Who's the worst player on the team? Can't say Jalen Goss or Ira Henry anymore. We have to be better based on that alone. Let's see. TJ, what's his name? TJ James. Is that his name? Marcus and Douglas. Those are contenders for worst players on the team. Kobe Gross is a contender for worst player on the team. Maybe Steven Dix. Steven Dix a contender for worst player on the team? I don't know. There's still some guys, man. There's still some guys. Still some guys out there. The Verse bashing does get a little excessive. It's one thing to think he's not Jermaine year one, but he's a good player. I think he's a good player. Expectations, man. It's all about expectations. Harrison Bailey, he's still in the portal from what I saw. I don't think he ever picked a school. Was good. Pharrell was good. I'd rather have Marvin Jones Jr., of course. Of course I would. Steven Dix. I mean, seriously though, what happened to Steven Dix? No one even mentions his name when you talk about this linebacker room. There's a reason for that. There's a reason he didn't see the field last year after being a starter. I think Steven Diggs has to be up there for worst players on the team. Jerry Jones. Someone says if Jerry Jones gets meaningful snaps this year, I will break my TV. Jordan Young, worst player possible. He might be. There's a few guys, man. There's a few guys out there. Verse had some big offers out the portal. Coaches must be, dude, they're seeing the same thing I'm seeing. I think the fans are seeing something different. He got offers out the portal because of what I said. He got offers out the portal because he has a high ceiling, ton of potential, unlocked potential. That's why the big time schools were after him. He has 3 years of eligibility. He hasn't even been able to crack the surface of what he could be. That's all I'm saying. The fans are talking about Jermaine Johnson 2.0 coming in and being the best defensive player on the whole. I'm literally listening to some of you guys' favorite podcasts, and they're talking about Jared Verse comes in and he's by far the number one guy in the DN room, maybe on the defense. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's not the case. Not the case. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's not a good take. I'm not saying Jared Verse isn't worth or not a great get, that he won't be a factor. I'm saying understand who he is. As of right now, he is a developmental prospect, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. The fans are bigging this guy up to be the next damn Jabril Peppers or something. And I'm saying just hold your horses. Coaches see the same thing I'm talking about. The fans are the ones that's bigging this guy up to be something that he's not, or not yet. Chuba hasn't signed anywhere. I don't think he's coming back. I think because he's not enrolled in any school. So I don't know what is going to happen with that guy. If he was enrolled in the spring, maybe I'd say he's coming back. But Chuba's about to be a 3-year college quarterback. And you guys do realize that in 3 years of Chuba Purdy being in college, he hasn't had one spring practice. He hasn't had one spring practice, conditioning plan, workout. He hasn't had it. He hasn't competed in one spring offseason. How are you going to be anybody's starter and you haven't had a one spring to have worked on your game? The first year wasn't his fault. COVID happened. Second year, it kind of was his fault. And then this year, you decide to transfer, and now you're not enrolled in any school, so you're not going to have a spring this year. Chuba's not going to be anybody's starter next year unless he goes down a level. I like Chuba. No cap. I don't know why he did that to himself. Now, Jerry Jones is the worst player on the team. I was really looking forward to the day Chuba started. Chuba been getting the wrong advice his whole career. Not one spring in 3 years as a QB is crazy. Verse was playing against weak, slow players. It's like 7A high school team. Oklahoma, yeah, the problem is that Oklahoma already has Dylan Gabriel is his name at a UCF. He's going to go there and be the starter. Not Purdy. So even if he takes here's the problem. Even if Chuba takes the Oklahoma offer, you're going there to be the backup. You could have stayed at Florida State and been the backup. Hell, you could have stayed at Florida State, actually got a spring in and competed for the starting job. That's the problem. No matter where Chuba goes, he's going to be the backup. Again, unless he downgrades into like the FCS level. Maybe he goes to Jackson State. Nah, because Deion ain't going to start him over his son. So, again, I don't know where Chuba goes, man. I don't know where Chuba goes. But wherever he goes, he's going to be the backup. So, at the end of the day, it don't look like you made the right move because you're still going to be a backup somewhere. So, he can go to Oklahoma. He probably should take that offer. It's probably the last big offer he gets. Just understand, you're going to Oklahoma to sit a year like you would have been doing this year, even though I think you would have had a better opportunity to win the starting job this year from Jordan Travis, but you did it to yourself. Chuba said he ran a 4.4 and I knew he would never start for us. Yeah, that 4.4 was a damn lie, wasn't it? If Albany played North Dakota State, that's definitely better than 7A. I agree with you. We're not going to go that far as to disrespect Albany. And, it's definitely a higher grade of football than a 7A high school. Everybody keeps saying Parson is going to be light years better than Duffy. I don't. First of all, you don't know. I like both prospects. I think just, don't disrespect Duffy like that. But we'll see. I wouldn't be mad if he comes in better. Either one of those two guys, I would say just be happy. We've seen this too many times as Florida State fans. Parsons is a year away, guys. He's a year away. Anything happens in that year. You might mess around and see a JSU hat on Parsons on commitment day, and you know what that means. Seriously. So we want to hype up Parsons. Why not hype up the guy that's on campus? It ain't like that guy that's on campus is some scrub that they signed off the street. He was one of the top quarterbacks and probably the top performing quarterback in his 7-on-7. Not a 7-on-7. His what that quarterback competition? The elite quarterback competition. And he looked like the best quarterback or one of the best quarterbacks in his all-star game. How about we hype up the guy that's on campus is all I'm saying, because anything can happen in a year. And all we know is Parson might not, this time next year, Parson might be at a whole different school. Exactly. Oklahoma already has their starter. Albany ain't playing high school team. Stop the cap at Syracuse, a high school team. Did you see the film? First ain't Jermaine, but he ain't no pushover. I believe he would go to Pitt. They also offered him a scholarship since Pickett is leaving. Yeah, and Pitt picked up one of the quarterbacks from, I think, USC already to be their starter. So regardless of where he goes, like I keep saying, he's going to be a backup. Don't know. Nobody knows. I think people just saying stuff. Right, and it's always the guy that's further away that we are high on. And I like Duffy a lot. I like Duffy too. So just think Duffy is 6 feet. I ain't buying. I don't care if he's 6 feet or not. I don't care if he's 5'11". Guys like Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson are in the NFL. Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer. And he was what? 5'10" if we're being kind. Don't matter. Elite 11. That's what I was trying to say. Elite 11. Bro, that's what I'm trying to tell him, Lance. If you want to hype up Parsons, and I like Parsons, y'all want to hype him up. We already know how this outcome is. We spend a year hyping up Parsons. And like I said, that JSU hat is on the table come commitment day, and we all looking like the surrender cobra on it. Like, man, what the hell happened? So just, I like Parsons. I think he's a great quarterback prospect, but let's just pump the brakes there. Anything happens in this year. Don't get me wrong. I like Verse, but he is young, still needs to develop. He is nowhere near the level of Jermaine. He might not even start. Slovis, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Pitt signed a quarterback already. No matter where he goes, Purdy's going to be a backup unless he goes down a notch. I think Jacksonville State's making the nod up to D1 this year. I know Rich Rod is their coach this year or something like that. So that's interesting. Jacksonville State will no longer be an FCS team. Coleman ain't want to go to JSU for real. He just riding the wave. He was going wherever Travis went. And JS is going to destroy teams. LOL Dion is putting on the show. Jones is Corey Magnum. He might be worse. And I can't even believe I'm saying that. Because Magnum, in my opinion, was the worst Florida State football player I had ever seen. And then your boy came along and may have taken that title from him. Not Jerrion Jones, but the left tackle. Like, he was so bad I even forgot his name. Who was the left tackle that was just the left tackle that almost got DeAndre Francois killed? That pretty much did get DeAndre Francois killed. What was his name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Somebody put it in the chat here in a second. Then that guy came along, and now Jerrion Williams. Oh my God, Jerrion Williams, absolutely garbage. And now Jerrion Jones is here. What's up, Juwan Williams? What's up with these guys with these J's? Juwan Williams, Jerrion Jones. Travis Hunter better than Jerrion Jones right now. He ain't played a college down yet. If versus a rotation player, that bodes 70-30 well for FSU. If JSU goes 7-5 next season, I wonder what folks will say. That'd be a bad look for Dion. That would be a bad look for Dion. I see where Primetime just landed. True, he did. I never heard a lot about this kid. What's his story? I just don't think he obviously he wasn't in a rotation at the D tackle rotation last year, and I don't think he was getting in it. True Thompson was like a 5'10" defensive tackle. Probably wasn't Florida State caliber player. Juwan Williams, yeah, absolutely garbage, bro. The three worst FSU players I've seen in my lifetime: Juwan Williams, Corey Magnum, and Jerrion Jones. Jerrion Jones has one more year to change that narrative, but it don't look like it's going to happen. I think we get a couple of top 10 classes the next 2 years. Then 24, we could be a 10-11 win team. Poor quarterbacks. Jay Williams still in the. Of course he is. Would you take him on your team? You're damn right. His man's still in the portal. Even Dion passed on him. Like, got to protect my son blind side. We can't have that. Come on, man. Of course he's still in the portal. I remember on signing day, Jay Williams put his. The sad part about Juwan Williams, he had all the measurables to be an elite offensive tackle. He was a high 4-star guy. A lot of teams, he had a lot of offers. A lot of teams wanted him. He had a lot of offers. And he had all the measurables to be really, really good. He didn't look like he had this, though. Mike Arnold wasn't as bad as Juwan. Mike Arnold played more guard. I don't know. I don't think Leonard Warner in that mold. I'm not saying Leonard Warner is great, but he ain't cut from that claw. You got to be a special type of bad to be in the Corey Magnum, Juwan Williams territory. If the transfer portal didn't exist like it exists now, yeah, that puts more emphasis on your recruiting, you know. You could, I mean, you know, if the transfer portal didn't exist how it exists now, Mel Tucker isn't cashing $100 million over there at Michigan State, right? Yeah. He can stay a legend over there in North Texas because he ain't a legend in Tallahassee. He's a legend for the wrong reason in Tallahassee. Yep. I will say again, if Norvell does not bring in a legit quarterback for Jordan Travis, 2022 might be the rest of this year. The entire QB debacle falls. I agree with you on the entire QB debacle. Bavion was the number one center in the country. Yeah, I forgot no squad is like 13. Kendo was hurt a lot. I won't call Kendo trash. I mean, you don't look who we're talking about. We're talking about Juwan Williams, who's been in the portal for like 2 years now. We're talking about Corey Magnum. And then Joshua Kendo, he's in the NFL. So, you know, that's not fair to Kendo. He just had a lot of injuries. Dotson was just as bad, man. You're not no lie. Miko Dotson might be worse than Jarian Jones, guys. Great question. That's a great question. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put a poll up. Worst. What's up, Chico? You hit your head on the table?
Yeah.
Worst DB. Dotson. Miko Dotson. This is actually a great question. Because, man, I forgot all about Miko Dotson. Whew. Or Jarian Jones. See what you guys say. There's a poll in the chat. Y'all hit the poll in the chat, man. Who is the worst DB? Miko Dotson or Jarian Jones? I'm interested to see what y'all say here. No squad, change the name to Similac. No. Juwan was part of the last class we signed on paper. Yep, Juwan was part of that class. That on paper, that's that class that Lander Dickinson was a part of. I think Marvin Wilson was a part of that class. I think that was like a top 3 class. Last great class FSU signed. And it turned out to be an entire debacle in that class. Kane Dobb, high-rated player. Yep. Kane Dobb didn't last here long. Considering the schedule and the current, well, there's the thing, Jeffrey. The roster's not done yet.
No.
But I don't think this isn't soap. This is lotion.
Oh.
The roster's not done yet. But look at the schedule, and I don't have an answer for you. I would say, look at where do you think the losses come from? My bad, No Squad. He's like, No Squad is. He said he's a few years. Okay, so No Squad is 16, 17 years old.
Burns.
That's a Burns, yeah. D-Jack. Oh, don't get me started on D-Jack. But I don't think, again, D-Jack ain't cut from that cloth, though.
That one is.
Y'all got right now, Jarian Jones leads the poll with 68-32. So y'all think Jarian Jones is by far worse than Dotson. Yeah, I agree. You can't put Kando in that conversation. Agent, don't do that, please.
Okay.
I think Corey Magnum's the worst safety in FSU history, and I don't think it's close.
Yes, that's Lotion. I love Lotion overnight. That's Lotion.
Tavares McFadden. Ugh.
Lotion.
I agree. Man, those players that always want to fight and get penalties but not fight the right way. That was D-Jack summed up. D-Jack, make a tackle 30 yards down the field after the running backs, ran for 30-yard gain, and he makes a tackle, gets up like he just got a sack for 15 yards. That was D-Jack in a nutshell. Level of competition, Bo Walker. That's what happened. He went from FAU to Florida State and couldn't cover his nose if he sneezed. DeAndre Francois he threw a nice ball. JJ Constantine is the worst FSU player I've ever seen. That's my pick. He couldn't even catch the snap from center. Looked like he never played football before. Yeah, Jimbo missed the mark with JJ. Let's not do DeKalin like that. You must not remember Abdul Howard back in 01. I don't. Absolutely don't. Stanford Samuels III made it great in Miami. So we have Dunquise. I guess that's how someone told me to pronounce it. LSU, Raging Cajuns, UF, BC, Clemson. Da, da, da. Now, I look at that schedule, right? I'm counting Dunquise as a win. I'm counting the Raging Cajuns as a win. I'm counting Georgia Tech as a win. I'm counting Syracuse as a win. So that's 4 wins. And, of course, you got Florida, Oh, Boston College. Probably should beat them again. So now we're up to 5. I'm just kind of counting going by the wins off the bat. Now, Wake Forest brings back their quarterback, and Louisville brings back their quarterback. You know, those Wake Forest, Louisville, NC State. Out of those 3 games, you go 2-1. That already gets you to 7. You should have beat NC State this year if we had a quarterback. If your defense showed up in the first half, you might have beat Louisville. So I'm saying you go 2-1 there. Now you're already at 7. Now the next big games, Florida, Miami, Clemson, LSU. Can you go 500 there? If you go 500 there, that's 9 wins. That schedule's not overly tough next year. Abdul Bello was pretty bad too. He was pretty bad too. Duquesne, yeah. My Knicks have been a disappointment this year. We came into the season with a lot of hype. And they're flirting. They're under 500 right now. We need to get Julius. We need to trade Julius Randle, man. That's just me, though. I'm sorry, Derek. I'm not going to watch all the games from post 2000. I'm sorry. Because I don't remember who the hell, what's his name? Abdul Howard is in 2001. I apologize. You're right. I need to go remember the whole roster from 2001, 2000, 99. We beaten Clemson. I don't care. Yeah, Sean McGuire. Smag was, yeah, Smag should have started over your boy. Who was the transfer we brought in from Notre Dame? I forget his name that quick, but I thought Jimbo missed the mark there. He should have just started Smag from the jump. I said Duquesne. He was bad. Fred Rouse is like one of the biggest. I remember Fred Rouse being like one of the best receivers in the country. He was definitely supposed to be the next big thing. Here is my deal with this 10-win season scenario. If you go back and watch the games we won, 2001, Jermaine and Kier absolutely dominated those games. And without them, we would have went 2-10. Okay, so let's go back. Syracuse, I don't think Jermaine and Kier dominated the Syracuse game because Syracuse put up 30-some-odd points. Thank Jordan Travis for beating Syracuse, okay? So that debunks that. So let's say we were 3-9. Okay. Now go look at North Carolina. Again, Jermaine and Kier didn't have to dominate those games. Jordan Travis dominated North Carolina. So now you're 4-8. And and UMass. Jermaine and Kier didn't have to dominate the UMass game. So, I mean, I just, I don't necessarily agree with you. Don't agree with that. Got to put respect on the other guys who showed up in those games to win them. Now, Jermaine and Kier did dominate Boston College game, right? I'll give you that. That's the one game I can think off the top of my head that they dominated that we won. Now, Jermaine dominated Clemson, but we lost. Jermaine dominated Miami, and we won that game. So the 2 games that I remember off the top of my head, Jermaine dominated. I'll give you those 2 games, but there's 3 other games on that schedule that Jermaine nor Kier dominated, and we won. Actually, quarterback won those games, and then anybody they could have put out anybody there against UMass, and we would have won that game. So let's give Jordan Travis credit for 2 of those games that we won. And then you can give Jermaine and Kier credit for the other 2. That's fine. And then anybody would have won UMass. But at the end of the day, regardless of what Jermaine did against Miami, Jordan Travis pulled that one out too. Kind of crazy, ain't it? Everett Golson. I was not high on Everett Golson. I always thought they should have let Sean McGuire. Should have started over Golson, but that was always me. Xavier Lee, ton of talent, man. So you're butting what you got here? These are quarterbacks that play for these teams that you're pointing out. And we already beat Phil Jerkovic. And I ain't worried about Jeff Sims, even though Jeff Sims does has a win over Florida State to his credit. Bjorn Warner, Tank, Anthony McLeod, Timmy, Christian Jones, Telvin, Vince. Okay. And that's another good point. Obviously, you know, you're not good without your best players. I mean, if you take N'Kobe Dean off of Georgia, they in the national championship. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think to his point, you take the best players off any team, you see a big dip in production. So, good point there. I doubt it. Tyler Hunter doesn't see. I thought Tyler Hunter was a good player. He got hurt, and then he wasn't as good as he was pre-injury. Tyler Hunter was a good player. When he got hurt, he took a big dip in his play back there. Ooh, somebody said it. I want you to look at Jameis. Hell, Jameis and EJ, the only quarterbacks Jimbo ever really hit on at Florida State, if we're being honest. But y'all don't want to talk about that, do y'all? Travis Jordan definitely deserves credit. If you watch football long enough, you'll eventually remember a lot of super trash players. What up, Chris? Orlando in the building? No, he's not. I don't think so. He should have been the starter this past year. But I agree with somebody said it earlier. I forget who said it, but Xavier Lee was a product of poor coaching by Bobby's son, man. Bobby messed up Xavier Lee. I've already said we probably won't get 17 sacks between two people. That doesn't mean you can't get a combination of that as a collective group. Don't expect somebody to come in and have 7 sacks and the other guy to have 11 sacks or whatever. I think Kier finished with about 6 or 7. Jermaine finished with like 11 or 12. Don't expect that. Don't expect that. I have no idea what Derek's talking about here. Take Dalvin Cook off of 2016 and how many exactly? You take the best player off of any team. And 45 votes, by the way, and Jerry Jones is by far the worst player than Miko Dotson, according to the fans, not me. It's according to the fans. Ponder was, if you remember, I think Jimbo brought Ponder in, but I know Ponder. Yeah, I think Jimbo brought Ponder in. Ponder was not a highly touted quarterback though, but Ponder was Jimbo's guy. So remember, they let Christian Ponder start over Xavier Lee and Drew Weatherford, and both of those guys were on the roster when Jimbo took over, and Jimbo decided to go with his guy. So, so I guess, yeah, you can count Ponder with Jimbo if you want to be fair. Jimbo wasn't as highly recruited as EJ or Jameis was, though. I believe Norvell is waiting on QB with a similar skill set to Jay Trabb for 2020, so he doesn't have to change up the offensive scheme. As a unit, I expect our DNs to be amazing. I don't see any of them being a one-man wrecking crew. I think amazing might not be the word, but I think you got a solid DN unit. And yes, I don't see one guy out there that was again, you're not Jermaine isn't walking through the door again. I was just looking at the past classes on and seeing why we were in a position in the last decade. Those recruiting classes weren't good and a lot of bust. Ponder was a Jimbo guy. Ponder was recruited by Jimbo, and he was the head coach in waiting. And I really want Noah Kane. I would take him if he's interested. Definitely take him if he's interested. 46 votes. Jerry Jones, 57%. Miko. I kept it up there for 15 minutes, so we'll end the poll like that. The people have spoken. Jerry Jones is the worst DB in modern Florida State history. Okay, Damian, speak the truth. Speak the truth. I know Jimbo eventually would ponder over those guys, though. What up, Stefan? It's totally okay for one of the DNs to completely shock us. Because, hey, nothing wrong with it. Hey, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't want it. I'm only trying to speak, of what's anything's possible. I'm trying to speak on what's probable. But anything's possible, baby. I'm just trying to speak on what's probable. The probability of getting Jermaine Johnson or Keir Thomas again isn't high. But anything's possible. And I wouldn't be mad. Like, I would not be mad if Jared Verse was the guy that I think he's not. Was Jarian really hurt? He played a lot to be hurt. And if Miko was hurt, unfortunate for him, but injuries are part of the game. Your best ability is availability, right? I like JT a lot, but his recurring shoulder injury is a huge concern. They have to back him up with a legit quarterback because Tate is not the answer, and Duffy will redshirt. Duffy definitely should redshirt. I want to see him. I definitely want to see him. I know it's early, but any breakout players? Yeah, Patrick Payton. That's my number one guy on my list for breakout player. I think he's starting by the end of the year. So Patrick Payton. Ponder redshirted. I thought he hurt his hand and he said it in the spaces. Maybe he did. He was on the field a lot though. So look, you don't get any excuse for injuries when you're on the field. At least in Miko's case, to be fair to him, he wasn't on the field a lot. The problem is when he was on the field, he was a bum. But Jarian was on the field too much to say he was hurt in any significant way. And even if he did hurt his hand ain't got nothing to do with him being burnt, lost in coverage. Who did we time out, old squad? Man, who y'all timing? I'm about to start. I don't see anybody got timed out. Oh, somebody. Oh, they playing with you, Noel squad. That's between you and DF. Them white helmets were recruiting tees. We'll never see. I hope we do. I think they gotta. You can't recruit a tees. You can't recruit tees guys and then never get a chance to play in it. I think definitely getting a white out in Doak one day with that all white. And I know the all white's usually an away jersey, but definitely getting an all white in Doak one day would be a sight to see. We don't know who the guys are yet. I'm at least wait till after spring. It's tough to ask for like any breakout players, to your point, but out of guys that are already on the roster and who have been on the roster, not counting the transfers, I don't think it's fair to say a transfer is going to be a breakout. Patrick Payton is my number one guy. POLK, I believe Travis will go down as the most underestimated QB in FSU history because the kid, when he plays a whole game, he wins. Hey, Travis win us 8 games plus next year. I'll never say nothing bad about him again. Exactly, Firewater. But folks want credit for being hurt and playing, but when they hurt and they play and they don't play well, imagine Jerry and Jones being hurt, but intercepting Pat, being a damn FSU cornerback. Oh, he was like, oh, and I did all of that while I hurt. And we would want to give him extra praise, right? Well, damn it, if you was hurt and you was out there looking like a bum, that's your fault. Get out there when you're healthy. I don't think there's much of a difference between Jerry and Jones healthy and Jerry and Jones hurt, if I'm being honest. I don't know, man. Just a home game, all a whiteout and dope would be like a sight to see. Am I wrong in thinking that? I think that'd be dope to see. It could be for a rivalry game. It could be for whatever. I just would like to see it one day. One can argue California got the best QBs coming out of high school. I think Georgia may have taken the cake there. Look at the last 5 years of the quarterbacks that came out of the state of Georgia. Name 5 breakouts after spring. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. But I'll do it. I'll give it a shot. What did I say? I said, we'll say Hunter Washington. I'll just go with Hunter Washington takes Jerry and Jarvis Brownlee's DB spot. So I got Hunter Washington. I got Patrick Payton. I got Lloyd Willis. That's right. Lloyd Willis secures one of those tackle spots, and maybe they move Darius Washington to the inside. Y'all know I'm big on Lloyd Willis anyway. Malik McClain, I don't know if he counts as a breakout player, but he takes that next step. And then Joshua Farmer. Those are my 5 right there. He shouldn't. However, to that second point of your comment, I think if Jameis starts as a true freshman, we win the national championship in 12 and go back-to-back 12-13 and had a chance for the three-peat in 14. And I stand by that to this day. Jameis was not A.J. Duffy. And I mean that in a good way. And that team that Jameis would have took over, I've said this on this channel multiple times, and I stand by this. 2012's Florida State team was just as, if not more talented than 2013 that won the national championship. 2012 team might be one of the best teams to not win a national championship. And you can book that, write it down. I stand by it. You're talking about a defense with the same players, except Jalen Ramsey. Okay, take Jalen Ramsey off, but you still had Xavier Rhodes, Marcus Joyner, Telvin Smith, Bjorn Warner, Tank Carradine. Bro, same players, more depth. I think Vince Williams was at linebacker too, alongside Telvin Smith. Mario Edwards was still on that team, I believe. And that 2012 team was more talented than 13. And that's just on the defense that I just named. Kelvin Benjamin was on the 12 team. He wasn't the same player, but that's because EJ was throwing the ball. I stand by that. Rashard Green, still had Rashard Green, Kenny Shaw, Devonta Freeman. Bruh, stand by that to this day. If Jameis had started as a true freshman, or if he would have took over for EJ halfway through the season like they did with Trevor Lawrence at Clemson, FSU would have went back-to-back national championships. Stand by that wholeheartedly. Can't convince me otherwise. That's cool, no-blooded. No, nothing wrong with that. Where's your losses? That's the question I'm asking everybody who thinks FSU is going to lose 7 or 6 games. I want you to show me 7 or 6 losses on the schedule. I'm with that too, DF. Just go check the recruiting rankings for Georgia quarterbacks versus the Cali quarterbacks in the last 5 years. I'm telling you. Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, Justin Fields, just to name 3 off the top. Just to name those three off the top. Hell yeah, if we win, if Jameis starts as a freshman. EJ was soft. Man, I tell you, man, that 2012 team was more talented than 2013. I don't think Jimbo wanted to chance if he knew Jameis was a once-in-a-century QB. I don't know what you do, chancing. What was it? That team was more veteran and senior oriented than hell 2013 team. Jameis just would have stepped in and did what he did in 2012, 2013 and 2012. Jameis didn't have to go in there and be the leader of that team. But you know what Jameis's personality and all that, he would have risen to the moment. Like, there's nothing you can say to convince me Jimbo didn't drop the ball with Jameis. He should have started him as a freshman, or at least had him come halfway through the season and get the nod. There was nothing to chance. I don't know. I don't think Chris Thompson. That actually might have been the year that might excuse me. It actually might have been the year that Chris Thompson hurt his back. 2012 might have been Chris Thompson's last year where he hurt his back. But why did that happen? Our offense was sputtering in that game. You put constant pressure offensively on that Florida team, different outcome. And Nick O'Leary was on the 2012 team. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. 2012 was loaded. 2012 was loaded. Jameis definitely don't lose to NC State. Definitely don't lose that game. Lonnie Pryor was on that team. I'm glad y'all coming around and seeing what I'm saying. That 2012 team was no joke. Okay, he hurt his back in 2011. I know Thomas hurt his back in one of those games. And I think that was like the last time he played or something like that. The only two QBs better than ours on the schedule are NC State's, and we still almost beat them with Mackenzie Milton as our quarterback that game. So think about that for a second. We know how that Wake game played out. We were in that game, and then what did Mackenzie Milton do? Throw four interceptions that game. Ja'Shawn Corbin had an uncharacteristic fumbles. I mean, turnovers killed us in that Wake game. So can we expect 5 turnovers again against Wake? So there you go. But we've already beaten TVD. So there's that. And then Malik Cunningham. Again, I'm not saying you gotta, be all in next year on 8 wins. But if you just come in here and say we blatantly not winning 8 games, I want you to show me the law. Show me the L's. Show me the L's. That's very conservative, coach. Absolutely. What happened to Red Lightning? What, graduated and went on about his life? He wasn't going to be a ball boy at Florida State forever, right? How many TDs does Walker? Walker who? Am I missing something? Who is Walker who? Jay, I don't know who you're talking about. Walker. I'm trying to think. How many TDs does Walker have this year? Who on the offense, last name is Walker? Y'all help me out. Am I forgetting a name here? Man, listen, Jameis don't lose that game. You can say Jimbo being conservative, and you have somewhat of a point there. But Jameis makes throws that EJ would refuse to make. I'm telling you. Jameis would not have lost that. Jameis would have went out there and did what he wanted to do in that NC State game. You can say it's being conservative all you want. Jameis would not have lost that game. Man, please, just get him out there. I want to see TVD another season. I'm not ready to crown him. Media did the same thing with Rattler last year. Always ready. Hey, it's always different when you got a year of tape on a kid, right? To your point. I'm not saying we win in every game. Definitely not saying that. Bro, that 2012 team, we could have at least been back-to-back champions. I mean, and arguably in 2014, we dropped the ball there too, but that 2014 team it lost a lot of leadership that we didn't replace. That's where 2014 team really, they were winning games off sheer talent. But that 2014 team lost the leadership that they were not able to replace. Oh, absolutely, Corey Hall. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know who Walker is. I'm trying to see who was that asked that question. Jay Hutt said, "How many TDs does Walker have?" Yeah, we don't have a Walker on our team. I'm pretty sure. The schedule is a lot easier than it was this year. I think so. He wouldn't have, but that's my point, Noel Squad. He wouldn't have had to be 2013 good in 2012. He wouldn't have had to be Heisman winner. I'm not saying Jameis goes back to back Heismans. He wouldn't have had to be that good. But he could have did more. I'm telling you, he could have did more. You're talking about Johnny Wilson. Okay. And I don't know. More than 5. I'll say that. Oh, every game was a heart attack in that season, man. Yeah, I would say Johnny Wilson plus 5. Miami has never made the playoff. Even Cincinnati and Washington have that. That's hilarious. That's the state of, hey, that's why they're calling, that's why this name exists. That's why Cuban Jesus is a real thing. He is the savior, and he's going to save that program. They're hoping. They're praying to this guy every night. I've never seen, well, I take that back. FSU fans, y'all did the same thing with Willie Taggart. Y'all did the same thing with old Willie. Y'all hyped Willie up, a coach. And I think Willie had a sub 500 record, if I'm not mistaken. Very similar. It's actually sad when you go back and look at it. Mario Cristobal is 62-60 as a head coach. I think Willie Taggart is actually sub 500 as an overall head coach. But you couldn't tell Florida State fans that, boy. We hyped Willie up to the heavens. Willie was going to come in here and be Black Jesus. Ooh, Willie was going to score 80 points a game. Man, Willie was supposed to be the dude. We looking, and now Miami looking a lot like that right now. They hyping up this guy, but it is what it is. That 2014 team had to come back and win every single game they played that year. They caught us swept in the Oregon game. Jameis didn't mind launching that pill. EJ emphasis was more on running the ball. I remember him being an option quarterback. We beat LSU, Miami, Clemson, Florida, and finished with 8 wins and a bowl victory. I say go ahead and give Mike a 2-year written extension. 47-50. There you go. His record probably got to be a lot worse now because he sucks at FAU too. FAU terrible this year. Jameis threw the pick versus Louisville in 2014 and immediately forced the fumble and got it back. Bro was different in college. Same game, Dalvin broke out. Yep. Jameis was always a gamer. Even when he made you, he was always a gamer. Willie Taggart had the best practice playlists. I was one of those who drunk that Taggart juice. A lot of us did. A lot of us was on the Willie Taggart train. And I'm telling you, Taggart looking A lot Mario Cristobal-ish. What was Taggart's biggest thing? Same thing they saying about Mario. Oh, Taggart can recruit. Taggart gonna come with the Florida State logo behind him. He gonna recruit everything. We were saying the same things. We were saying the same things they saying. And here we are. Remember when Mario... Exactly. Miami fans don't want to talk about that. Willie hired him. Willie Taggart fooled everybody. I always say he should have stayed at USF. Built a powerhouse. He's still using Tampa connections to recruit now. I fell for the smoke and mirrors, though. Cuban Jesus. Yes, sir. Bring Willie back. Oh, God. That Clemson team is going to be a very interesting team to watch next year. They've lost damn near a whole coaching staff. It's going to be interesting what Dabo does with that, man. Oh, man, lethal simplicity, do something, war daddies. Oh, Taggart came in with all the slogans, all the one-liners. Oh, if you want to talk about winning, Taggart won all the press conferences. Oh, Taggart had us eating out the palm of his hands. I remember it like it was yesterday because it almost was. It was only 2-3 years ago. But I remember it, man. I remember it. Taggart was winning every press conference. You couldn't tell Florida State fans nothing about Willie. And then then that Virginia Tech game happened. And it never got any better. Y'all think true freshmen gonna come in there and play? I don't know. Clemson lost the whole staff and won't take any transfers, but are losing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That Clemson team is going to be so interesting to see. I don't know what's going on there. Willie donated $1 million to the football-only facility. That's a real no. Bring him back. Mario stealing all Mike's slogans now. Do something. Willie with the lethal simplicity. I'm telling you, man. Willie was killing the press conferences, man. Like I said, he had us eating at the palm of his hands. I ain't gonna lie to you. Hey, I think that Texas A&M game, Miami fans are gonna be like, "Whoa, we thought we had something here." He does play as true freshman. If I think what's his name? Is it Cade Klubnik or something like that? Or Gunnar? Is there Gunnar Stockton? One of them quarterback. What quarterback is going to Clemson? I think it's Cade Klubnik or whatever. I think Gunnar Stockton's going to Georgia. But yeah, Dabo don't hesitate to play the freshman. If that freshman is better than DJ, he gonna play him. We was doomed before 2014 season started. Remember when Dalvin got kicked off the team photo just to come back to the team? Yeah, Cade Klubnik. I was at the Vidge Tech. What a shame. I remember watching it looking like, this isn't lethal simplicity. This is lethal trash. That's what I remember thinking. What happened to lethal simplicity? This is lethal garbage. They didn't do basic things right in that. Man, I'm not gonna go in there. I'm not gonna go there. Cade Klubnik or whatever. If he's better, I will say this about Dabo. He won't hesitate to play him. That's for sure. Bobby Bowden starting playing freshman in the 90s. Nothing new. That weak defense we ran with dude from Michigan State. They want to run that 3-4. Again, we ain't even going to get into that. Remember when we had the 90s day with Taggart? Yeah, they had the 90s concert and all. I remember all of that, bro. Yeah, they not going to fire Cristobal. He going to be there for the long term, so he better get it right. I don't know what DF's talking about. Bobby Bowden was adamant in his interviews that he didn't, especially at quarterback. Bobby didn't like playing a quarterback until he was a redshirt junior. I would like to know what freshman in the 90s Bobby started playing. Hell, compared to year one, if you compare Harlan Barnett's year one to Adam Fuller's year one, I'll take Harlan Barnett. Now, Adam Fuller kind of shut me up this past year, but we'll see how much they had to do with Jermaine Johnson and Keir Thomas, which he should get credit for coaching those young men, whatever. But I'll be interested to see year three, Adam Fuller's defense. I didn't say much about Adam Fuller last year because I actually thought the defense was carrying this team in some aspects because our offense was pretty bad. We went through all 5 stages of grief during, bruh. Denial, rage, sadness. It was, man, every Virginia Tech game to this day. A few players here and there, but most players sat the bench a few years. Now Bobby adapted. Miami, UF, Clemson. How many do we win out of the 3? Out of those 3, I say Mike's got to go 2-1. Mike's got to go 2-1. You already beat Miami. I don't know if Miami's going to be any better next year. We already beat them. Remember, that was a veteran team. A lot of seniors. They're losing. You bring them TVD back, but they might be losing a little bit. So, UF, you should have beat them, right? Jordan Travis gets hurt in that game. If Jordan Travis doesn't get hurt, I believe you beat UF. If Emory Jones, who hasn't transferred, is still your quarterback next year, hey, they better do something with AR-15. I don't know what UF does. And then Clemson. All 3 of those games are extremely winnable. But realistically, I'll say you got to at least go 2-1. Got to. You almost did it this year. So the next step should be to actually do it. Hell, you almost went 3-0 against those teams this year. On a 5-win team, you almost went 3-0. So the next step is to what? Take the next step and actually win the games, right? The one thing in Mike Norvell's favor is the old saying that Bobby Bowden himself said. You lose by a lot, then you learn to lose by a little, then you learn to win by a little, and then you start blowing your opponents out. You learn to win by a lot. Right now, they got blown out year one. Facts. We watched them get blown out year one. COVID year, oh my God. Then last year, not many blowouts. A lot of one-possession games, one-possession losses. The only game that really was like a blowout, and it wasn't really a blowout, but it was an ugly loss, was Wake Forest. Every other game, you're in the game to the last minute, right? Now this year, let's learn to win those games by a little. I don't care about no blowouts. Let's just learn to win them. The Sabbath Joseph, defensive analyst, help with the linebackers. He's going to Miami. So he's replaceable. Who starts at running back? Trayshawn Ward. Who backs him up? I think it's going to be a competition between Toafili and DJ Williams. Or Davis thinks Harlan Barnett is worse than Fuller. Ooh. I saw the games, you casuals. My late father played running back at FSU. He did not see the field until his junior year. That's changed now. Tell him, King. So your dad, did you attend FSU, King Mark? Harlan Barnett played that wide open zone defense. The check down versus that scheme started at 15 yards. Don't forget the hype stage before the game. The Boise State game. Oh, man. Boise State game was, I don't know what's worse, the Virginia Tech game or the Boise State game. Because FSU came out in that Boise State game, and it looked like we were about to put 60 on Boise State. And then everything happened. Oh, man. Now you guys are giving me PTSD. That Boise State game was just as bad as Virginia Tech, if I'm being honest with you. And don't even get me started on that fumble that Hamza had a great hit on the running back. And 2 seniors couldn't pick up a fumble. They literally were looking at the ball and couldn't pick it. Oh, my God. Yep, Dante Lucas went to South Alabama. I saw that. Oh, my God. Because how is a Tallahassee team not able to play in Jackson? Like, come on, it's Florida Heat. No, matter of fact, that game was moved from Jacksonville because of the hurricane. So you had a home game that was supposed to be a neutral site game, ended up being a home game, which would have been a home game for Florida State in Jacksonville anyway. But you get what I'm saying? How's a Florida team dehydrate? Oh my God. Don't even get me started. That Boise State game might be just as worse. Hey, I'm telling you, I plan on being there. So for those of you who plan on being in New Orleans, let me know. Nope, join the military. Okay, shout out to King Mark. Shout out to King Mark, man. What branch of the military did you join? Devonte, D-Jack and Levante Taylor looking at the damn fumble. That Georgia Tech game, yeah, you could feel that one. It's like you knew that one was gonna. You could feel like we were obviously the better team. That Georgia Tech game and that Jacksonville State game have very similar vibes where you know you're the better team, but you're letting this inferior team hang around and you know what's about to happen. And that's exactly how that ended up being. I plan on being there myself. I don't know if it was fool's gold, but I think the Notre Dame game was the worst thing that could have happened to them because, and that's a testament to the coaching, not a good testament. But this is the fault of coaching because the coaches and they allowed a close loss to Notre Dame to make them think they were better than what they were. So they thought they could go out against a Jacksonville State and just nonchalantly go in that game as if they were just going to walk in and win it. I won't call it fool's gold, but it allowed there's a lack in coaching that they didn't have the team prepared. The coaching staff took that as much as a moral victory as the players did. And that's a no-no for coaching. You think Nick Saban is happy, and obviously Mike ain't no Nick, but you think a good coach is happy with a close loss? Hell no. Mike should have been infuriated with that loss, and they should have come out laser focused in the next few weeks. Instead, they let that Notre Dame game hype him up, and Mike was a victim of it as well, and that's what happened. See, those are the things that when you start talking about Norvell, those are the damning things that when people say he should be fired, I don't have any pushback from. But it also shows that he wasn't ready for this level of job. Maybe at Memphis, you can have that kind of mindset. Florida State, you can't be happy with a close loss to Notre Dame. So those type of things are things that I'm like Mike should be criticized for. That's damning evidence. That Notre Dame loss, to feel the way you felt post game and to let that trickle into the next few weeks. I'm not going to do Blackman like that. I'm not going to do Blackman like that. I don't think COVID-19 going to stop nothing. Notice all those lesser bowl games got canceled, but somehow in major cities like Atlanta and Miami and Indianapolis, the playoff games wasn't affected with more densely populated areas, but somehow COVID didn't affect those games. I mean, not trying to be a conspiracy theorist here, but I think when money's on the line is where I'm getting at. Those games won't be canceled. Florida State and LSU in New Orleans ain't getting canceled, folks. Unless like a hurricane hits New Orleans. You get what I'm saying? But that game ain't getting canceled. If Kelly spanks Norvell again for 3, that'd be 3 years in a row, by the way. I will lose all hope for Norvell in his future at FSU. Hey, if you can't, yeah. After seeing Kelly for 2 years straight and you not being able to figure out how to beat him, again, next year's make or break, man. Next year is make or break, do or die for Mike. Either he figures it out or, yeah, I don't see how he makes it out, man. I don't see how he makes it out of that season. So I'll go for another 20 minutes. We'll do this. We'll do an even 3 hours, and then I'm out of here. So what else we got in the comments? I basically just been reading y'all comments and just talking about that stuff. So we'll finish off like that. But that's the thing, though, Dupree, is LSU's losing a lot of talent. So if you don't figure it out, I'll put it like this. I don't know if Notre Dame, I don't know if the LSU team that Kelly will field next year is any more talented than the 2 Notre Dame teams we've played in the previous years. Mike got to figure something out. You can't keep letting these guys beat you. Hey, I hope so, John White. I'm not rooting against Norvell, but I will point out his shortcomings. And when he has some high points, I'll point those out too. But those seem to be few and far in between as of right now. Bump that. I still would have took that bowl game. I don't want to hear that crap. That's why you have assistants. They recruit while you coaching. Hey, I don't want to hear that. Pittman said we're not done yet. He said that, but we'll see. More likely Norvell ends up as an analyst for JSU before Dion coaches FSU. I'll say Blackman was the better. I'll say Blackman was better than Christian Ponder. Man, stop it. I'm not going to put Blackman in the worst players ever conversation, but to say he's better than Christian Ponder. Now, Ponder wasn't amazing, but Ponder won his fair share of games at Florida State. Man, we got to stop that. I kind of missed the very beginning. Can you recap your opinion on the transfer class and telling lies? Which was worse? I'll get to that, Tyler. Which was worse, 2006 Wake or JSU? I mean, Wake is still ACC team, Division I, Power 5 team. JSU, you can never, JSU, that's JSU. Like, I don't think so. I think this NLI stuff is a big deal, but I also think people are blowing it to the proportion that they're acting like this stuff is new. It's just legal now. Teams have been doing this always, so no, I don't think it'll be a problem for us. Now, will it be a problem legally? I'm trying to say a word that I can't say. If Florida lets the teams in the state of Florida dictate NIL deals, it'll definitely help us. Basically, though, Tyler, what we said earlier is just, I mean, talent-wise, I think what they're doing in the portal is big time. And I think if people start talking about, I think Mike Norvell's first team wasn't very talented. Last year's team, everybody kept telling me it wasn't very talented. Only to by the end of the season, some of your great podcasters thought FSU's team was talented. We'll take it for what it's worth. I think next year's team is going to be very talented. Now, how talented, we'll see. But looking at that schedule, If you want to start telling major lies about winning 10, 11 games, I'm all here for it. I'm all here for it. And as far as in the portal, I'm not saying that they're going to hit on everybody, but they don't have to hit on everybody right away. Because other than Bethune and Lyles, everybody's got multiple years of eligibility. So even the guys that don't hit off the bat right away, you can still develop. Ponder was better than Black, but I believe Black was going to be better. Make that tackle Brownlee. LOL, can't have him there again this year. Teacher Wise said UM got $10 million donated to their NIL. Watch out. Because I'm a little confused about this NIL thing. Miami say they have a lot of NIL money, but some say that whole state of Florida has a cap. Florida doesn't have a cap. This is what I understand. It's not that Florida has a cap to the money. Florida schools. So like you see in Texas and you see the University of Texas Longhorns blatantly come out and say, they're giving offensive linemen whatever it was, 80,000 in NIL. Right? That's the team pushing the NIL deals to the players or whatever. When you hear that Texas A&M had over 30 million or whatever that was in NIL, that's the team, pushing those NIL deals. What I understand right now is Florida schools cannot dictate the terms of NIL. So the University of Florida or the University of Miami can't come out and say, we can give our quarterbacks $10,000 in NIL money. Because then that's the university making the deals. Now like if you look at all the Florida State's players and some of the NIL, that's like Jordan Travis is doing his own 4th and 14 thing, but that's not being dictated or pushed by the school. Travis is doing all the legwork there and so on and so forth. That's my understanding of it. It's not that there's a cap on it, that schools can't issue the deals or something like that, or dictate the terms of them, or like push the deals out. Probably using the wrong words there, but I think you kind of get what I'm saying. Yeah, for real. I mean, that's why I knocked on the wood, because I know that's like a real thing. Those hurricanes in Louisiana. Keyshawn catches that touchdown. The missed tackle isn't even a factor, right? That's tough. I've been having that issue for the past couple of years, man. National level talent, like national championship level talent, no. Talent enough to be in the ACC race by end of year, you can't convince me that Pitt, top to bottom, had more talent than Florida State this year. So, yeah, I agree with you. Yes, it does. And John White probably knows what I'm trying to say more so. The Florida school, the Florida law puts Florida schools at a disadvantage, not because of the cap, but because, like I said, Texas can come out and say, we will give O-linemen this amount of money to come here. A&M can come out and say, I'll give you $30 million as in totality to come here. Florida schools can't do that. Talent makes plays eventually, even if it doesn't win games. We had a running back and D tackle talent. We didn't move. We didn't have wide receiver, tight end talent this past season. Both things can be true. Some talent, but still weakness. The past 4 years have averaged a number 20 in the country in recruiting. Got to take a look at Louisville and Wake around 4. There you go. We need that Miami fan, Coach Coop, to release another FSU diss track again before we play them for good luck. Pitt only has that's it. They have a way better, for sure. I'll give you that. They had a way better QB. No lie there. And I just use Pitt as one example. You still can't tell me, hell, the Tar Heels have more talent than Florida State top to bottom. Probably if you check the recruiting rankings, we find a way to beat them guys. You see what I'm saying? But you're right. They had definitely a way better QB. That's what it's becoming. That's what it's becoming. It's before it was, now it's the NIL, so Florida State can recruit. Florida State is fine. They'll figure it out if they haven't already. It's not this NIL stuff. I get it. It's big. It's big stuff. Obviously, it put Texas at an advantage if they can come out and just flat out tell high schoolers, "Hey, come here. You make $80K off the rip." Obviously, it puts them at an advantage, but that just means Florida State, Miami, you got to be more creative in the way you move. Meaning you can't come out publicly and say this, but come on. The same stuff that were being done behind the scenes 10 years ago, hell, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, this NIL thing is just in its first full year of existence. These schools and programs should know how to work around the system. Miami does. So even though they kind of get caught every time they do it, but the point still stands. They know how to work around the system. Just got to do the same thing here. Only difference is it's not like the NCAA is going to be investigating this stuff anymore. FSU gave my dad a Camaro and his cheerleader girlfriend a full scholarship. Oh, thank you. And you say FSU. FAMU was handing out Camaros, and that HBCU. Like, I've talked about this for 100 times, that none of this stuff is new. Oh, no. Mike got to put a little bit more out there for a Mel Tucker type deal. No. I think Mike maybe he'll get a pay raise, but slow down a little bit, not so fast. If Florida State going to play big boy football, they need to recruit the elite. You got to win games, and then you can recruit the elite. That's the problem. So it seems like I need to up my record thoughts to like 9. That'd be nice. And a bowl for 10. Buster Davis had a condo in downtown Tally, if I remember. They need to be a lead in the trenches. That's where it all starts and stops, right? That's basically what Mel did. They were trash, turned it around in the season. Momentum is crazy in college football. I'm not saying Mel didn't deserve it. I just, winning games, man, solves all this recruiting talk and NIL money and all this excuses we're trying, or not we. I'm not going to put myself in that because I'm not giving no excuses. But all these excuses of we don't have the money, winning solves all of that. All of a sudden you start winning games and sponsors come out of nowhere. It doesn't matter where you go, what the tradition is, or where guys have gone before. It's about where you can be at your best. Winning solves all the culture talk. You got to learn to win with what you got. It just starts that way. Again, it's not like Mel Tucker was out there recruiting hard. He used the portal to his advantage. He sold a dream through the portal. And not only did he sell a dream through the portal, guess what he did? He went out on the field and won games. He didn't lose to Jacksonville State or Wake Forest. Like he won the games, especially he won the games he was supposed to win. Oh, and then he went out there. And when we had a chance to have the upset against Clemson in Death Valley, he found a way to win those upset games. He found a way to get it done. Mike's got to find a way to get it done. At the end of the day, find a way to get it done. You had opportunities against Florida, Clemson, to win those games. Notre Dame. I'm not done with Mike Norvell, but damn, my throat's dry. I should have got me some water. I'm not done with Mike Norvell, but the more I seem to talk about it, the more I kind of start looking side eye at this guy because everything shouldn't always have to go in your favor for you to pull out upsets or pull out games. Like that's the mark of are you choking on my own spit, y'all. That's the mark of are you just a average coach? Are you an above average coach? You know, are you trending in the right direction as a head football coach? Winning, getting those upsets, beating teams sometimes that you're not supposed to beat. And how about not losing teams that you're not supposed to lose to? Are we going? Hold on. This question made me choke a little bit too. Are we going to lose any of our young upcoming receivers with the portal transfers? Who? Who we got? We ain't got no upcoming young wide receivers except for Malik McClain. And no, Malik McClain ain't going nowhere. His spot's safe. Burrell's still recovering from an injury, so I don't think he has anything to worry about. And Ja'Kai Douglas, no, I don't think he goes anywhere either. So those three guys, no issues. Because outside of that, you ain't got no up and young coming wide receivers. We don't speak too much facts in here. There you go. That's hey, Young's not an excuse. Young is not an excuse. I need to go get some water, but we're almost done here. Young's not an excuse though, man. I don't want to hear it. The problem is this isn't Clemson. What I mean by that, Clemson gave Dabo Swinney time because Clemson has no expectations. At that time, Clemson was lucky to even be in the conversation of college football. That's how bad that program was in terms of on the field. Now, behind the scenes, they may have been a solid program. I can't speak on that. But Florida State is not Clemson. It's not one of these schools where you think you get 5 or 6 years to build something. You don't get half a decade at Florida State. You saw that with Willie. I believe if Mike is putting out similar results next year, I think you're going to see the same thing with Mike. You can't justify keeping Mike Norvell. So tell him again, Todd, hit the like. And I don't want to hear about Mike being young, coach, and give him time. If you're old enough to have a job, you're old enough to get it done. We don't have receivers except for yeah. Yeah, sure. Keep lying to yourself, a dang bay. That new family plan of Norvell is you have to be meek and humble to fit in. What 5-star game change playmaker is meek, quiet, humble? LOL. I don't know anything about that. But at the end of the day, Mike got to get it done. Yeah, pretty much. It's more likely that I suit up than we ever see Dustin Hill play a snap. And that's how you know we've came to an end of this live stream because I'm getting Dustin Hill stuff. So every time, y'all already know how this works. Once we start getting this Dustin Hill crap, you know we came to the end of the stream. We're going to close on Mike needs to punt the damn ball and Young getting $4 million to do a job he's set for life. He don't have to feel sorry for him. Thank you, FSU Tony, for that. But, of course, here we go with the Dustin Hill talk. So y'all know what time it is. Yep, it's time. It's your boy POLK over here on 863 Seminole TV. And we are out here. Again, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video. Had a fun whole 3-hour stream today. Good time, good conversation. I'll see y'all again. Don't know for sure when, but I'll do my best to continue to pump out the content for you guys as long as my schedule permits. As the schedule will be getting a little hectic for me in the upcoming months. As always, man, stay classy, Seminoles. Again, hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share. Go Noles, and we at ya. And I gotta go get some water because I'm about to cough up a lung. But y'all have a great night, man. Another fun live stream. Holla at y'all next time.